Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto built the Dragon Empire par -2. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this and comment for next part. And Naruto breaks off the kiss and says, I am going to make you my woman tonight after theses you want no one else but me and my girls understood. And Kuretsuchi says, yes I agree to it. Just me into oblivion. And Naruto smirks. So he places her on the bed and right away slams his into her seeing that she's unbelievably wet from fingering herself for who knows how long and Kuretsuchi screams in pure delight as she is finally being ed. Naruto starts thrusting into her and she's screaming loud as she yelling out, such a huge. So huge that is reaching the deepest part of that my fingers couldn't do. With Naruto thrusting his more into her as his stretching her walls but at the same time it's tightening onto his. 20 minutes later, Naruto has Kuretsuchi on a top of him as another one of him has his own against Kuretsuchi's as she saying, yes my and please make my body remember your please. And the second Naruto says, as you wish. As he thrusts his into Kuretsuchi's with her yelling out with her tongue hanging out of her mouth with a blush on her. And right there, Kuretsuchi is being double penetration in her and she's loving it so much, the second Naruto says, holy Kami. She's hardcore tight in the maybe we use too much of the dust on her. And the real Naruto says, but doesn't matter. Since we are going to break her mind. As they thrusting into her holes even more, as Kuretsuchi is screaming even louder than before as she yelling out, more, over and over again. And so for hours on end, Naruto along with his clothes had been in Kuretsuchi in every position that they could do and more from doggy style, blowjobs and tit jobs, cowgirl and its twin sister the reverse cowgirl, and the so on, as the whole tent is now filled in the smell of. Until finally, in the morning, Naruto makes Kuretsuchi come one last time as she screams her heart out as her stomach is so of Naruto's cum that she's about 12 months pregnant, and before she passed out, she says, "S so amazing, I want you to be yours F forever," then passes out and all onto her back on the bed. Naruto takes out his and says, over. You already are, and you will be bearing my kids, so we will be doing this again but for now, who is next on the list? Said Naruto as he put on his clothes as he checking the list. As he sees a name, Orihime Inoue, Naruto goes to the tent that she's staying in and just like Kuretsuchi's tent, it's also full of the dust as well. Tent 2. Naruto stands in front of the tent that Orihime Inoue is in, and he hears loud S and their S are louder than Kuretsuchi's so he enters the tent and sees. Starts. Naruto sees a woman with long orange hair with brown eyes and she's in the age of 27 and she's a figure that of a MILF with her S or a massive I cup, which she's groping her own S while fingering her deeply as she's saying, I need to be ed so bad. Please I would let anyone to be free from this UAL urge. Said Orihime as she keeps fingering herself more and starts ing on her left while blushing badly. As before, Naruto removes his clothes and left her up by grabbing her arm and smacks on her large and it jiggles with her S by it when his hand smacked it, anyone. Be careful what you wish for or else you just might get it, Naruto says as he kisses her deeply. Once the kiss breaks, Orihime yells out, please me. I just can't it anymore. And Naruto smirks, very well, how about you giving me a blowjob and tit combo then? Said Naruto. Both are on the bed with Orihime comes to face Naruto's hard and throbbing as she blushing real bad, S so massive, and also she starts wrapping it with her S, leaving only a few inches of his, so she S the tip part of Naruto's and she starts ing it while rubbing it with her S. Wow they are so soft. And your mouth feels so nice and they are mine. Said Naruto as Orihime keeps it while blushing badly as her is getting more wet than it ever was before. An hour later, Orihime's face has a leftover cum on her face as she screaming like never before as she being ed both of her and as two Narutos are thrusting they S into her as she being held by one of them as she yelling out, yes me break me so no other man cause me. Make me or I will be whatever you want. As she screaming louder with her S bouncing into the real Naruto's face as the other Naruto kisses her deeply with tongue action. Both Naruto keep thrusting into Orihime's and more with her screaming atop of her lung, and the real Naruto catches both of Orihime's S and starts ing the S with her going very crazy while her and still thrust upon. Other hour later, Naruto is on top of Orihime as he holding her legs and thrusting his into the deepest part of her with her screaming louder and louder, more. More. Me until I'm 100% sure that I'm pregnant with your child. Yelled Orihime as she feeling Naruto's hitting her womb now. 10 minutes later, Naruto now ing her in doggy style with his hands onto her large as it jiggies with her screaming even louder as Naruto's is hitting against her womb. Naruto rise up his hand and starts smacking her with her screaming even louder than before. You have one killer body with head turning that would make any man want you. But you are mine, said Naruto as he smacking her more while thrusting his even more as his keeps hitting her womb even more. 6 hours later, Naruto is now ing Orihime with her hanging in the air as his is slamming into her with her holding onto the pillow and biting it light as her is leaking out waves of Naruto's cum. Yes, come in me, make me a mommy. Yelled Orihime as Naruto says, as you wish. Said Naruto who redraws his from hair and slams it with full force into her and she comes right away. Yes, please unload it into me. Yelled Orihime as Naruto is thrusting into her like a raging breeding bull more and more, until finally Naruto unleashed a massive of load of cum as it filling up her and womb greatly with her yelling out, yes. As she being filled up by Naruto's cum as wave and wave keeps coming inside of her. An hour later, over. Naruto sighs out a relief as he looking at Orihime who is out cold as her letting out large amount of Naruto's cum as he says, she will be pregnant for sure with that much cum in her, as he put on his clothes and goes over to the list. And to his surprises, he sees that in the next one are in fact two, a mother and daughter in fact. Naruto walks out the tent. Naruto heads over toward the next one. Upon entering the tent, Naruto sees the mother and her daughter as the daughter whose name is Kinya as she says, who are you? What do you want with us? And why are we? Said Kinya who has double GS and has silver hair as her mother Chia who has double JS as she too have silver hair as she thinking, what a handsome man, I wonder how he is in bed. Naruto answers Kinya's loud question, oh it's time really. It's something I do back during the War of the West. I would my enemy's woman girlfriend, wives and have them fall for me since when I'm done with them, they will be begging for more, said Naruto. Both mother and daughter couldn't believe of what they were hearing, and the next thing they know, Naruto grabs Kinya's hand and kisses her on the spot. Kinya is blushing badly as Naruto grabs her wick it's massive while kissing her deeply. And Naruto place his hand onto her and gropes it as he kissing her more, as Chia herself in shock about this as she unknowingly getting turned on by this. Naruto noticed this so he grabs Kinya by her side, and he makes a clone as it appears behind Chia as he says, I can't leave you hanging, so I will have you join in the fun, as he and his clone placed both of them on the bed as both of them couldn't believe this is happening. 15 minutes later. Chia along with her daughter Kinya are on their knees and giving the real Naruto and his clone blowjobs happily with hearts in their eyes as Naruto and his clone saying, I wonder how your husband and father would feel about losing his wife and daughter to a better man who could pleasure you easier than his small. Said Naruto as Chia is thinking, I don't care, just let me keeping this massive, and Kinya is thinking, I finally found the one I have been looking for. 5 minutes later. A man with a scar on his face, over his right eye and he has dark blue hair, he's wearing just simple clothes of a builder's shirt and gray pants, and he's been tied up and being pushed toward as he says, where you taking me? Said the scared face man. Keep moving you will see when we get there. Said the clone as both of them heading toward the tent. Upon entering the tent, the man sees as he is the husband to Chia and father of Kinya. Yes, me more like that. Yelled Chia who is in the doggy-style position with the real Naruto thrust his into her rough and hard, please more. You are so much better than my NUMP husband. Yelled Chia again. Yes I have found the right man for me please me more I don't care about any other man only you. yelled Kinya as she being Ed in the same position as her mother's as the second Naruto is thrusting into her like crazy. And the man is both shock and horror about this as the third Naruto says, "This is happening, so what are you going to do about this?" As he waits for his answer, "It's finally over, I have been that woman's bitch since we got married," said the man as he keeps talking while Naruto is a bit surprised about this, "and I'm so happy that my daughter finally found someone, so I can now leave that woman and be with the one I truly want to marry with," said the man. Naruto looks at him and says, "Well, this is a very big surprise. I was not expecting that answer really. Now, who is the woman you want to marry?" And the man quickly answers, "My beloved childhood friend crush, Desire, and she has been waiting for me to leave this woman when the time comes," said the man. Naruto's clone pulls out the list and asks a soldier to bring him Desire. The soldier nods and they wait 20 minutes, and in that time the cuffs are removed. A woman comes running to them and hugs and kisses the man. "You're finally free of that bitch, aren't you?" she asks, and the man nods. She smiles and they walk away. As this going on, Naruto and his clone had Ed Chia and Kinya into unconscious as both of them are so full of Naruto's comes greatly they look 10 months pregnant. "We love you, Naruto-sama," said Chia and Kinya as they not noticing that the man whose name is Jason along with Desire run off and start anew somewhere else with Naruto's permission as well, with him wishing them luck. Over a day and a half later. Land of Earth, outside of the ruins of Iwa. The whole army of the Dragon Empire are sleeping in for the night as they had finished making plans of what they going to do next as well, setting up flags of the Empire around the village. And right now, a group of Anbu are moving around the campsite and they are wearing masks with root Kaji on them as they giving hand signs as they moving in quite like. And why are they here? And where did they come from? The answer is that they are part of a program that was shut down by the third Hokage years ago, but it was still around by Danzo, who leads them as well, having kidnapping children that shows great promises. And right now that group is here to kill the emperor in order to stop this war go any further, but then they come across the three dragons as they are sleeping, and so all of the group of the root Anbu must move more careful than normal. And they notice that the dragons are next the tent that belongs to the emperor, so they goes toward it and opens it to found out that it's empty. They hear growling and they slowly turned around. The dragons are awake and they let out one massive roar, waking up everyone and letting Naruto know something is wrong. And where Naruto is, he's at the ruin Iwa village, and so he went back to see of what is going on. Back at the campsite, the dragons are putting down the root Anbu group with they claws as they showing they fangs toward them as they showing no fear at all. And not only that, the soldiers are also there to make sure no one of them plan to get away from the dragon's grasps. "Make a move and you will die by our hands or be barbecued by one of the dragons. Go ahead, make our night," said one of them as they holding some kind of weapons that the roots never seen before. Naruto arrived back and says, "What's going on here? Sir, we were awoken by your dragons stopping these 10 spies from entering your tent. It seems they might have been sent to kill you. We came and found this scene, your dragons pinning them down," said his second in command. "How did they wake up? We were so quiet," asked one of the root. Naruto and his troops laugh at that question. They have a better sense of smell than dogs and wolves. Plus they are a lot stronger than them. Plus you tried to kill their father, who is me. Explained Naruto. And one of the roots noticed that Naruto isn't wearing the mask and he knows who he is. "Wait, you're that demon." "That's right, you are Naruto Uzumaki. The one that was put to death," said the root as Naruto says, "Well, I'm ain't dead as you were led to believe, but however all but one of you are well being to be late night snack for my kids since they are very hungry," said Naruto as he grabs one of them and leaving the rest to their fate toward the dragons as all three had the look hungry on them. Naruto snaps his fingers and says, "Feast." And that is what the dragons did, just that. They start eating the 11 of them as each roots are screaming in pain upon being eaten alive, as Naruto looks toward the 12 root and says, "Now then, are you going to talk?" As every soldier are looking away from the eating feasted. A mission scroll rolls out of the leader's pocket and it hits Naruto's boot and Naruto picks it up and looks at it even though there's a bit of blood on it, a mission scroll. I see, I guess I don't need to have you talking after all so, said Naruto. He throws the now lone living root into the air. All three dragons see him and each of them take a bite onto each part of the body. As Naruto opened the scroll and reads it, I see, this Danzo person had their guys to come after my head in order to end the war before it could go any further. Well, they had failed and become dragon food. Alright, everyone went to sleep, we are heading out first thing in the morning, said Naruto as he goes to his tent and starts planning of what to do this Danzo. Time skip in the morning. As Naruto had said, the army had head out and heading toward the home of the land of Earth's daimyo, which they will arrive there within 3 hours. So Naruto take this plan too. Alright then, after we conquer Earth country we will be heading over to Sunagakur, to inform the Kage of our plans as well, setting up a meeting with the Wind Daimyo to give up his rule and land to the Empire or else there will be blood, Naruto says. As his truthful generals are with him in the war room in the airship, as they eating their breakfast of course, yeah, less bloodshed the better, we might be conquering but that doesn't mean we are bloodthirsty monsters, said a demon who has the appearance of a human, as he had white hair as he has it backward, and he's wearing a blue coat and has an katana with a yellow ribbon on it. He is Virgil, son of a demon knight named Sparta. You speak of truth, Virgil, my old friend, but if there's anything goes wrong, I will leave things to you to end it in one swing of your sword, said Naruto. As Whitebeard, who was drinking a large cup, as he slams it down and says, now then, what about this Danzo person, and everyone are wondering about this as well. Oh yes, him, well, as you guys could tell, I had sent a few members of the assassin order to spy on Danzo as well as take him out when the moment is right, said Naruto. That would explain why Altair and Ezio ain't here, said Akainu. This right, now then, get the soldiers ready everyone, we will arriving the home of the land of Earth's daimyo, said Naruto. 3 hours later, the airship arrives at the home of the daimyo, which is a large castle as well a large city. As the guards, the samurais of the daimyos come out and protected they lord, if only they had knew of what will come to pass. As the airship hatch opens up and everyone sees a towering man as he says, so this is the samurai of the east, huh? They look weak by comparing them to the west samurai, this will be easy, says Whitebeard, who then jumps off the airship as the samurai and the ninja who joining them as they just see Whitebeard jumping off. And upon landing on the ground, Whitebeard makes a large crater as he says, now then, show me what got, young lads, as he waits for them to attack. In the airship, Naruto looking down and says, this will end quickly, land the ship once Whitebeard has finished them off, as he starts putting his mask on, as the soldiers are watching Whitebeard in fact destroying the Earth daimyos, ninjas and samurais like they're nothing at all. Wow, the warriors here are so weak, said one of the soldiers. Yeah, they are, and I thought their support to be the best since they are the protector of they lord, but I guess not, said other. A full minute later, their lads aren't even worth to be called a warm-up, said Whitebeard as he looking the defected ninjas and samurais. As the airship lands as well the dragons and the hatch opens up, Naruto in his mask on walks out along with other generals as he says, well, they don't training begin with, that's why they so weak unlike us who keep training even after our war ended, as they say, always be prepared or else you will be taken down, said Naruto as he heads inside of the cast of the daimyo with Whitebeard and the other generals. Inside of the castle of the daimyo, a prominent, gray beard and mustache and his eyes have dark marks underneath them as he wearing his daimyo outfit with a hat with the Earth Kaji on it, as the daimyo says while in his throne room, what is going on outside? Says the daimyo of Earth, and before anyone could say anything, the doors were breaking inward, as they see Naruto who was the breaks the doors with his fist alone as he says, sorry for breaking in but it doesn't matter because your days as daimyo are over as today, the country, the land of Earth now belongs to the Dragon Empire, said Naruto who then walks up closer to the daimyo as the Earth daimyo yells out, guards kill him at once. And so the two guards charge toward Naruto, and Naruto is thinking, oh that's cute, they think that they could kill me, and he right away grabs they heads and have them like they hit each as the general who with Naruto and he as Virgil cuts down the other guards from the sides with his sword as Naruto just taking down with his own sword. It's a claymore sword with dragon's scale on the unsharp part of the blade with a red sharp edge with a dragon's eye between the blade and the hilt as Naruto says. Meet the blade of dragon's fury flames, as the name says, said Naruto as he swings the massive sword toward a few guards and they set on fire as they screaming in burning pain. It does this to whoever get cuts by the blade, as he keeps cutting down each guard and setting them on fire, until there no one but the daimyo left. Now then, with your guards now died and burned, you have no one else to protect you. Now this is the part that you give up your country, your name of daimyo and live the rest of your life in shame which it would lead you into killing yourself, said Naruto, as he looks toward Virgil and asked, hey Virgil, do you want to be in charge here? Or is it too earthy for you? Said Naruto and Virgil, sire, you do know that I ain't the type to lead a country, so give it to someone else, said Virgil. Alright then, and what we do with him? Said Naruto as he looking toward the now former daimyo as the guy himself is in fear of what's to come. Time skip, 2.5 days later. Sunagakure, Cage Tower, office. Naruto is sitting across of Gaara as he says, Naruto my friend, I see that you are well, said Gaara as he wearing the robe of the cage just without the hat. That's right, now then as to why I'm here with my army, well it's a long story Gaara, said Naruto as he tells him of what happened while he's remembering of the day when he come here to become allies with Sunagakure as well how he got Temari into his harem, 2 years ago in fact. Flashback, a year ago, Sunagakure gates. Naruto with his mask on, as he walking along with his lovely wives Samui and Tatsuki, and his 3 generals, Selvaria, Akainu and a man with white hair as he has it down with a red coat and a claymore sword on his back, his name is Dante, twin brother of Virgil. As they walking toward Gaara with his ninjas with him as he says, what business does the West with us? Asked Gaara as he has red hair as he has rings around his eyes and has the tattoo kanji of love on his forehead, as he wearing the cage robe. First off, don't call us West, since we are now called the Dragon Empire, and what we want is simple really, to form an alliance with Suna, said Naruto within his mask on. Then Gaara's sister, Temari wearing her Junin outfit on as she says, and why should we trust your words? Really you would not trust an old friend that hurts Temari and Gaara? Said Naruto as he removes his mask showing his face and they are shocked to see Naruto is now living in the West. And Gaara says, Naruto, you're alive. We heard that you had died so long ago. By Konoha's damned civilian council. As he happy that his first friend is alive and doing very well it seemed by the looks of him. You should have know better, it would something more than 2 chunins to take me down, so I heard you become the cage. As for me, I become the leader of a whole empire, but how about we talk this at your office since you and me have a lot to talk about after all, said Naruto as he place his arm on Gaara's shoulder as he says, indeed we do, Naruto, and heads on over to the tower of the cage. And then, say Gaara I have something to do, so I will meet you guys at your office alright? Said Temari, as everyone looks at her and Gaara says, very well, just don't too long alright Temari. With a smile on his face. Temari went to send a letter but what she did not know that Akainu was following her he felt something off with her. At the falcon nest. Temari is writing down as fast as she can as she thinking, I gotta let Shikamaru know that Naruto is alive and he's here at Suna, and maybe we'll finally be, before she could finish anything. Don't even think about doing what you are planning to do Temari. It will hurt the chances of this alliance working and the Emperor wants this to work. Said a very deep voice behind her as Temari slowly turns around and sees the towering figure of Akainu as his fist turns into magma. It's not what you t. Akainu won't let her finish talking as he takes away the letter and reads it. You were trying to tell the one place that Naruto hates the most right now that he is alive. I will not let you do that Temari. Trust me, his temper has become a lot more powerful over the years he was away. Said Akainu. And so you're coming with me and let's found what your brother as well leader of your village thinks about this, said Akainu as he places away the letter in his white coat and then grabs Tamari and drags her toward the tower of the cage. But not before melting her battle fan like she won't able to fight back. At the tower of cage. Gaara's office. Naruto and Gaara are catching up as well, telling stories of what they did for the past 7 years now. The door opens and Akainu bends down and steps in while dragging Tamari behind him. He puts her down and pulls out the letter and hands it to Naruto. After reading the letter, Naruto rage is felt in the room but calms down just a bit as he hands over to Gaara while saying, "You might want to read this, Gaara," and Gaara is confused about it so he takes it and starts reading it. It didn't take long for Gaara to be shocked and horror as he says after dropping his arms down and letting go of the letter as he looks at Tamari, "Tamari, why?" Was all Gaara said. "I did it because I want our village to be friends with Konoha again," said Tamari, and then she sees the claymore of Dante went past her head as he says, "I call bullshit on that, you're using that as a cover-up, tell him the real reason why and how long have you been sending this letter and many more to Konoha," said Dante. "Maybe she was doing this for love. I always thought you and that lazy Shikamaru would make a good couple," said Naruto, and Gaara hears this and says, "That's why. You been doing for who knows how long for him. That guy that you always say that he's too lazy for his own good," said Gaara as sand is flowing around him to show just how angry he is. "Alright, I did it because I have feelings for Shikamaru. But I never told him any of the Suna's secrets. Just what I did for past 4 years now, and I was going tell him that Naruto is here and hopefully that everything could go the way it was. And like that we could be finally together," yelled Tamari as she confesses. "Yeah, there is a slight flaw to your plan. 1. I no longer work for Konoha. 2. I rule an empire. 3. I am no longer that orange-wearing kid and I have seen war for 6 long years. So how can things go back to normal when you factor all of these things in?" said Naruto, and Tamari doesn't know what to say about that as Gaara says, "Naruto, for our alliance, I want you to take Tamari and do whatever you want with her," said Gaara. "Alright, but add one more woman, cause like I told you, I don't just conquer lands, I also conquer woman," said Naruto, and Tamari says, "What do you mean by th?" Samui says, "He had with a lot of women include me and Tatsuki, and he has earned of many titles as well, titles that he have to do during the war," said Samui as Tamari couldn't believe of what she's hearing as she hears Tatsuki says. "And he's such a great lover and how big high." She stops herself. "You will see," said Tatsuki as Naruto says, "Selvaria, could you take Tamari toward my hotel room, and I will be there once I'm done talking with Gaara about the rest of the alliance," and Selvaria nods and says, "Yes, sire," and she does of what Naruto asked her to do. 2 hours later, at the Suna's hotel. Room 35B. Naruto enters the room, and he sees Selvaria standing by as well guarding any ways out as he knows to stop Tamari from trying get away. "Good work, Selvaria," said Naruto. He kisses her on the cheek making her blush. Selvaria says while acting a bit shy, "S sire." As Naruto smiles, "You will have your turn in the bed someday soon, Selvaria," Naruto said with Selvaria blushing even more. As Naruto pinches her wig makes Selvaria eeps in a cute way and she quickly leaves the room as she says while blushing, "Excuse me," as she closes the door and so leaving Naruto and Tamari. Naruto says, "Now then Tamari, you have been naughty and you need to be punished, Tamari, and once I'm done with you after making you mine, you won't able to remember Shikamaru's name and you will be screaming out my name," said Naruto as Tamari realizes of what Naruto meant so she back a ways from him. Naruto grabs her by her feet and pulls her in even though she tries to get away but failed as Naruto starts undressing her, leave nothing on her, not even her bra and panties. Naruto sits on his bed and bends her over his knee and his right hand starts to glow red. Then Tamari hears a loud smack as Naruto's hand was meeting her. And Tamari tries to hold back her s of pain as she feels Naruto's hand keep smacking onto her as he keeps at it for a good 5 minutes off smacking. And so after that, Naruto throws her onto the bed as he starts removing his clothes. And once Naruto had all of his clothes removed as well his underwear, Tamari sees Naruto's meat rod as she yells out, "What the hell, that is huge and will split me in half." With a fear of look on her as Naruto, "Oh, don't you worry about it, after all you will come to love just like I did with the others," said Naruto, who then grabs Tamari's legs and hold her in place with her trying to fight it off. "No, wait. See, can we talk about it? Please Naruto, I'm saving it for him," begged Tamari. "Remember what I said earlier, I will make you scream my name and forget his name. You belong to me now, Tamari, and when I am done you will want no other man but me." And once that was said, Naruto thrusted his into Tamari's with blood comes out with Tamari yelling out, "No." With bit of tears falls off of her eyes as she feels Naruto's massive in her and inner walls. Naruto thrusting his into Tamari with her screaming while begging Naruto stop it as well to let her go, but all of it fall on deaf ears. Then Naruto lift her up and holding her by her wrist while thrusting his in her more and more with Tamari screaming even louder than before as she trying to hold on whatever she could. "I can't give up for Shikamaru-kun, I want to marry him, no one else. I belong to Shikamaru," thought Tamari as she screaming even louder than before as she feels more and more of Naruto's going deeper into her. An hour later, Naruto now holding Tamari by her legs as he thrusting his even more into her while standing on his legs while Tamari is thinking, "I have to hold on. And then I will run for it toward Konoha and finally be with Shikamaru-kun." Another hour later, Naruto is laying on his back with Tamari atop of him as he thrusting his upward into her with he groping her as she thinking, I am must stay strong f for Shikamaru-kun. IIW will marry him and raise AAF family T together. Another hour went by. Tamari is in the doggy style position with Naruto holding onto her hips as he thrusting his into her roughly as her thoughts are, "More please, more forgive me Shikamaru, you may hold my heart but my body belongs to another," as she is screaming atop of her lungs and slowly loves having Naruto's massive in her. Once more another hour went by. Tamari is trying beg not do what he's going to do next, which he's going to have anal with her next with his against hair as she's saying, "Not there. You already take my virginity," said Tamari as she still in the doggy style position as her is leaking out Naruto's cum as she thinking, "Yes please take, make me forget about what's his face, make me your woman for the rest of my life, use me," said one part of Tamari as other, and no. I still love Shikamaru. I have to remain strong and waited it OU, and before the part of Tamari that still hold the love for Shikamaru could finished. Naruto slams his into her with her screaming like never before with her bouncing by the impact. Into the next hour. Tamari is still being ed in Theus she on Naruto's lap with Naruto thrusting into her more and more while massaging her tits as he says, "Damn. You have one tight Tamari." As Tamari's thoughts are, I can't give you up on W what's his N name A again. Said one part as the other part said, "Yes please more, if you want me to blow you I will do it anywhere please more." As Tamari is almost giving in to Naruto and he tell by the look of her face as he stops as he makes a clone. "Tell me Tamari, do you want to be double teamed?" said Naruto as he spreads her legs toward the other Naruto with his ready to her as the thoughts of Tamari are in no. That's too much. Yes please double team me. Hell gang bang me for all I care. And also the other Naruto slams his into Tamari's with her screaming and yelling out, "So much. It's too much in me. And she has come by it too." An hour later. Tamari, the one who wanted to be Shikamaru so badly and been trying stay strong as well not to give in to Naruto, has been conquered by Naruto as she giving him a blowjob while looking at him all lovey-dovey like as she thinking, "I am very sorry what's your face but my heart, mind, body and soul now belong to my beloved Naruto-kun, he is the only one who can satisfy me now, no other man can't or ever will," as she keeps seeing Naruto's more and more. Naruto smirks and says, "Looks like I have conquered yet another one into my harem, and let ask me, do you even remember his name?" Naruto asked Tamari about Shikamaru's name. Tamari stops ing and removes the from her mouth but puts the against her cheek and asked, "Whose name?" Was all Tamari said as she went back on ing on Naruto's, and Naruto says, "Never mind, no one important, Tamari-chan," as Tamari starts giving Naruto a tit as well while ing his more than before. Naruto smirks with victory over Shikamaru, cause really lazy, won't even know what to do with a girl like his Tamari-chan, but he will keep the letter. Flashback, over. Naruto smiles at the memory as Gaara tells him that the meeting with the Wind Daimyo will be tomorrow for talk of giving up nicely. "That's good to hear, thank you Gaara," said Naruto as Gaara then says, "You're welcome, and also tell me how is Tamari now as well of Pakura." As he curious about his sister since she's living with Naruto, they're been doing good and I do have them stay in shape to fight as well other things, and that reminds me of something. I heard from one of the brothers of the assassins had said that the Akatsuki are planning to catching you and take your little raccoon friend inside of you soon, said Naruto. If that's so, then could you leave someone tea, before Gaara anything else? Oh, I'm planning to. I will have Akainu help you out, said Naruto with a smile as Gaara, thank you Naruto, said. No problem, after all we are friends, just be careful, Akainu is able use magma, so warn your people not to piss him off, said Naruto with a warning that must be shared to everyone at once. And bad things happen if Akainu gets very angry. Naruto is leading the army toward the land of water as they matching forward. Naruto is looking plans how to take over the land. Now then, which one should we use? Let's see, said Naruto as he reads. Plan 1. Take over the land of water by killing the water daimyo. Plan 2. The Mizukage and any other women and keep them. Then slowly turn the people against the daimyo. Plan 3. Just have a talk of their surrender and talk about what they will get. Naruto thinks about them, then he doesn't like the third one since back in War for the West, he had tried to do the peaceful way in hopes of no bloodshed, but however the lords won't talk at all. So plan 3 is out, now leaves 2, and which one should we do? As they were almost there he saw a group of mist ninjas. Samura's front and center defense positions. Ordered Naruto, and as ordered Samurais appeared with weapons at the ready to be drawn or ready to swing, and the samurai archers are ready as well. As one the mist ninjas start forming hand signs for a jutsu, then they heard a woman say, "Enough. We are here to talk not fight, we are still rebuilding, we don't need a new war on our land, so stand down now," ordered the woman as she walked up to the samurai and raised her hands showing that she did not want to fight. Naruto takes a look at her as well, her figure, as she has green eyes, and ankle length, auburn hair styled into a herringbone pattern at the back, a top knot tied with a dark blue band, and with 4 bangs at the front. 2 bangs are short, with one covering her right eye, and 2 are long, crossing each other on her bust. Just below her chin her figure is an hourglass figure in her S-size Triple H cup and a plump. As her name is, I'm Mei Terumi, the Mizukage and me and my ninjas ain't here to fight, we want to tall, she gets cut off by Naruto. You know, I have fallen for that trick for so many times in the past during the war for 6 years, so don't take me as a guy who would talk things out, so I will take all of you as prisoners of war, said Naruto as he snaps his fingers as assassins come out of the shadows and take Mei and her men down and tied them up. They took Mei and her men along as they resume walking as they heading toward with Naruto. Alright then, men, we heading toward her home village and conquer it, and Mei yells to cut Naruto in. No, you can't. We can't fight back. Please, there's so many deaths from our civil war, said Mei as she begs Naruto the leader not to attack the Kurigakure while it's still being rebuilt. Naruto hears this and stops, then turns to her. Oh, so what do you really want, Mizukage? As to leave the village alone, I have plans to ally with the wave. The allies we have are Suna and Spring, and we have conquered the Stone Country. So what do you really want him? Said Naruto as Mei thinks of a way of what she could do to save her village and its people, but then she offered this to him. I will tell them to give in willingly, like that you would have Kurigakure under your command, so there won't be any bloodshed. And I in return, I will be in bed with you, said Mei as she blushes on the last part. No, Mei-sama, don't do it, shouted one of mist ninjas, It's not worth it. Said other mist ninja. So it is not worth saving the lives of your friends and family from an invasion. Think of it this way, we can avoid more bloodshed. You remember what that kunoichi said, right? I will not bring that to our village. Not another war, please just do as I say, said Mei. All mist ninjas had to swallow their pride and accept this, but that doesn't mean that they have to like it, as Naruto has his hand under his chin. So you're willing to give up your village in order to save as well to sleep with me? That's not a good offer, Miss Mizukage, or should I say former Mizukage, said Naruto. Mei nods her head in agreement. Naruto turns to Whitebeard and orders. Call the ships, we might have a new territory and base, plus it will keep the rogues of ours away from a prime location, said Naruto as Whitebeard nods. Right away, I should inform the ships right away, as he calls forth a huge bird which is a hawk as it lands on Whitebeard's arm. As Whitebeard writes down the orders of Naruto and have it fly off as it heads toward the Dragon Empire, Naruto says, come along, Miss Terumi. I'm sure your village will be glad to see that you're live and no longer their leader, said Naruto as he starts walking as Mei is being untied, and the same goes for the mist ninjas as a sign of goodwill, and she walks up to catch up with Naruto. Meanwhile, at the Land of Fire, Konoha, Tsunade's office. Tsunade is walking back and forth as she biting her thumbnail in worry because she hasn't heard anything for Jiraiya, as she says, where is he? I knew it was a bad idea to go there. Who knows what could have happened to that pervy fool, said Tsunade. Shizune walked in with another one of those shells. Lady Tsunade, yelled Shizune. Tsunade stops and looks at her. What is it, Shizune? Asked the fifth Hokage, as Shizune holds up letter. It's about Iwa and the Stone Country, said Shizune as she hands it over to Tsunade as she reads it and got in shock after she read it. Iwa has fallen, and Stone Country is conquered in C couple O of hours, said Tsunade as she doesn't like this. She doesn't like this at all. This is the might the elders have brought upon us. Sai gather them, Shizune. This something that must be told right away, said Tsunade with Shizune nods and goes do that. But she leaves the shell on Tsunade's desk. Tsunade goes over to the shell as she notices a button on it like the last one and presses the button. The message started to play. So you sent a perverted toad to spy on us. He is alive, but he is on Okami Island where he will learn never to peep again. As Tsunade doesn't know what to feel about this, but one thing for sure is that Jiraiya got captured and was sent to this Okami Island, which she believes that it's some kind of prison for men only. Damn it, was all she could say as she throws the message down as she leaves the room for a meeting with the elders and the shinobi and clan head council. At the streets of Konoha, it seems that Tsunade wasn't the only one that found out of what happened to Iwa and the Stone Country, as everyone of Konoha are reading the same message about it. From civilian to ninja, of Genin to Anbu are talking about it like it's wildfire, even though they had tried to hold back the info since the Iwa Kunoichi arrived. But it was in vain. Word had spread like wildfire, and right the Rookie 7, formerly known as 8, which before was 9 plus with Team Guy, as they're talking about this at a dango shop, and they with they senseis as well. I can't believe Iwagakure has fallen, they were very strong, said Kurenai as Kakashi has mixed feeling about the fall of Iwagakure. One half is happy that they are gone, but other half is sore yet sorrow because this is just the beginning of the end. As they talking about it more, Anko's walk up, but then she noticed them before she orders her dangos as she goes up to Kurenai. Well, I have had to make sure our guest is safe, said Anko. As Kurenai say back, it didn't matter cause in the end, everyone found out, and now everyone is wondering why this is happening and what reasons does the Dragon Empire have to do this. Maybe ancient history between the East and West, said Ino as she thinking that she got the answer, but then, no, that won't do, since long ago, the East built a massive wall to block off the West because the West are full of people that are too strong, said Assume. But what about before that? Wasn't both the East and West one nation? Asked Tenten. No, Tenten, from what we read, East and West were always separate nations, even back then, all because of the massive river between the two, which later the wall was builded upon, said Guy. But however, there isn't much known about the West. Well, except for a family that was thrown out of the West and come into the East, but no one knows what happened to them, and not even the last name of said family, said Kakashi. I have a hunch that family was the royal family and I think the new emperor is the long-lost heir. Said Guy as everyone are thinking but then, so. Some unknown loser is some loss to a family that was once royal. What a load of bull, said Sasuke. I would not say that. That royal family had been around long before your clan Sasuke. Said Kurenai as Sasuke looks at her with a pissed off look on him. What did you say? Said Sasuke. I would know my ancestors were the guardians of that family and if memory serves me right the last part of the name was Kage the first part, I forget I will have to look in my family archives. Said Kurenai who planned on doing that. Thankfully her family's compound were given barrier seals by a Uzumaki woman she knew back then. That just reminded her of young Naruto and she hopes that he is alright, wherever he is. So the family is far older than any clan out there, said Shikamaru. Yes that's right Shikamaru but however you can't find any info on them since only my family would have that knowledge about them and since it was a long time since I last checked them, so it would take me some time to found them, said Kurenai as she knows that she will do a lot digging. As they are talking, Sasuke tightened his hands into a fist and then walks off as he has things that's need to done, which he will start packing up things, he needs more power after all and he can't gain that here along with other things. Land of Water, around the afternoon. Kurigakure, front gates. Naruto along with Mei arrived at Kurigakure with his army. A few mist ninjas and civilians see this as one of them come up to Mei and asked her this. What is going on? As Mei say with a heavy heart, everyone sigh I have news for all of you, as today we now a part of the Dragon Empire is this man now your sole leader and I'm no longer the Mizukage, said Mei. Everyone had a look of shock and horror. As Naruto stands up, but don't worry though cause I look after my people and give them what they need cause, as Naruto says this. Ships with the mark of the Dragon Empire arrived from underwater as it coated with some kind of bubble. As they neared land and landed at the docks, soldiers jumps off as well setting up gangplank from the ships to the ground as more soldiers are walking down on it while carrying supplies as other things. As Naruto looks toward the mark of the water on the Mizukage's tower, Naruto aims at it and says, get that mark changed this village is now a part of the Dragon Empire. And before they could do that. Hold it right there you brat! Yelled a voice that come from the seas as Naruto turned to see, a man with golden armor with a smirks that's just full of arrogance with a fleet of 150 ships. And before the soldiers could do anything, Naruto stops them, I will handle this, after all I want to tie up this loose end once and for all, said Naruto with Mei and the rest of the mist are watching him walk toward them like he's going for a walk at night with his arms behind his back. As he walks, seals appeared on his body as armor appears on his body with the Empire symbol on his chest. The metal is the some metal of unknown origins only known to Altair. He then let out a whistle and everyone heard 3 roars. They looked up to see 3 dragons flying in the sky. As they land behind their father as Naruto, burn them all, leave none of them alive, said Naruto as he tells his dragons as they roar in understanding as they take to the sky once more with Naruto set him ready to jump then he did. Naruto jumped onto the flagship of Don Krieg as he says, time to end this Don Krieg, after all you're one of the last of what left of the old days of the West, said Naruto with his eyes glowing through the helmet. As Mei looks toward one of Naruto's generals as she asks, why aren't you helping him then just sit around? As Whitebeard says, why lass? He can look after himself after all he's the strongest of us all, as he sits down and brings out a huge bottle of sake. When Naruto charges at Don Krieg he starts shooting with guns from his shoulders and sides with a gun in each hand at Naruto with the Don shooter but the bullets are bouncing off the armor as Naruto moving in closer to him as Krieg is sweating more and more as he's saying, damn it. As the ships that he had bring with, are being destroyed by the fire of the dragons as Don Krieg's men are either jumping ship or being burned to death. Don stops shooting and takes off one of his shoulder plates and makes into his needle machine gun. But they don't work either and Naruto is killing crew members that are getting in his way with his dragon Naginata named the Black Fang. Don Krieg stops shooting, then removes his other shoulder plate and puts them together. The pulls a handle out and a blade comes out the top. The crew on the flagship scream out in joy, seeing their captain's ultimate weapon, the great battle spear. As Naruto knows that the shoulder plates explode on contact with anything. Before Naruto got to Don Krieg, the immovable shield pearl got in his way. But Naruto thrusts his black fang right through the shield and Pearl's heart. He then removes the naginata and the body falls, and Don Krieg has his flamethrower shoot a large amount of flames at Naruto, but it does not work and Naruto and Krieg clash. There is a reason fire does not hurt me. Because I was bathed in the flames of war. I was burned and tortured for 1 whole year in the West when I first arrived, and when I gained the tolerance by making armor that blocks it along with others, said Naruto as they continued to clash blades. Then Naruto punches Krieg in the face and uses the black fang to cut the armor of Krieg, then stabs him in the chest. "Burn in hell, Krieg!" shouted Naruto, who then used the naginata to throw Krieg to Bahamut, who burns the body. Then Naruto notices a map in the water. He jumps off the flagship of Krieg and stands on the water, then he grabs it and gets it out of the water. But then, "Oh, it seemed that we meet again, Naruto-san," said a voice that Naruto knows. Naruto turns and sees Krieg's old first mate Jin, and Naruto smiles. "Jin, how have you been?" "I have been okay. The poison has slowed down thanks to you, but I do need medical attention," said Jin, who then coughs, and Naruto nods agreeing and then asks, "Hey Jin, do you want to know how to sink a ship with 1 shot?" "Sure, why not? What do we need?" asks Jin. "All we need is 1 cannon," said Naruto, rolling one where he wants it and then loads it. Naruto then lights the fuss and Naruto and Jin get out of there and they jump on Bahamut. Boom! The cannon shot and the ship has a hole all the way through, plus it is sinking. "That is how you sink a ship with 1 shot," said Naruto. Jin says, "Always going with brute force, huh, Naruto-san?" As Naruto says nothing as they heading back toward everyone at the village. Mei couldn't believe her eyes as a few thought that they were looking at a demon, as the children just seen a hero fighting bad guys. And once Bahamut landed with Naruto say, "I need medics for Jin here," said Naruto as he points at who is waving, as he saying with a weak voice, "Yes please do, cause I think I see the afterlife," as he falls off Bahamut as the big dragon looks at him after Jin falls off in confusion. The medics rush over with the antidote for Don Krieg's poison and they give it to him. Then they gently move him somewhere he can be watched over to heal. Naruto then gets up and sees the results of the battle and his children's destruction. So he pats him on the nose as he says, "You did good, Bahamut. Now gather up your sisters as it is time to eat," and Bahamut nods as he goes to get his sisters to eat. Then Naruto turns to Mei as he says, "Come with me, Mei," as he walks toward the once building of the Mizukage, and Mei just follows him as she somewhat knows what is going to happen next. When they reach the top, and once they enter the room, Naruto sits at the deck that was once hers as she sits down as he says, "Now then, there's something I want to talk about, a few things before anything else. First off, how much do you know about Daimyo of Water?" said Naruto. "Well, besides that he was against the civil war cause it was making us look weak, he wanted us to be free and not to fight," said Mei as Naruto thinks about it. "I see, but did he come here to stop it?" said Naruto as he asked her this question about the daimyo if he did anything else. "He tried to with samurai, but all were injured badly and I had the rebels get them out. After that we had his support. He sent supplies info, and where the enemy was going to attack we still have members of the Kagaya clan alive," said Mei. Naruto thinks about it, then he says, "Mei, this daimyo was two-timing you and the Mizukage before you, cause how would he know about your enemies were going to attack? And how often do you win your battles during the civil war?" With Mei is shocked about this. "Not that many," said Mei, who was in shocked. But his son on the other hand, Mei hated what his father did, and when the son started to help, how many battles did you win then? Asked Naruto. "We won a lot more, and the samurai never really liked the daimyo like they respect his son. So if you get rid of the father, the son will negotiate with you about being the ruler here while he follows your rule," said Mei, who has met the son before. And Naruto say, "It seemed that you forget, I don't do negotiate because I have no reason to, as I have too many bad experiences of it, and no, it doesn't mean me a tyrant, since I do talk with my people, just not with leaders of anything unless I know who the leaders are. In personally level, as May feels like that Naruto won't do the peace way. But she will try get him to reason, but would you at Leah's? Naruto cuts her off. No, no matter what you said, May. I won't do negotiate, and I will kill the daimyo but leave his son to live, but I won't put him in charge as I don't know him. Just because you talk about him and what he did, that alone isn't enough for me, said Naruto. That shuts May up, and Naruto gets up and locks the doors, then comes up behind May and grabs her s. Besides, you are about to join me in my bed, said Naruto, as May blushing badly as she nods as she says, oh okay Jay, just follow me, as she leads Naruto to a room that she used to sleep in for long nights of paperwork. When they get into the room, Naruto grabs her and throws her onto the bed, then closes and locks the door. As May is blushing even more as Naruto come up to her and says, now then, shall we start? With May nods. Starts now. Naruto smirks as he undressed May of her clothes, bra and panites as she now completely as she blushing up a storm, and Naruto removes his own clothes, and the moment that he bring out his, May is blushing even more than before as she both a bit scared and nervous at the sight of his. As Naruto starts rubbing her, as May starts ing loudly while blushing even more, as her thoughts are, I didn't know that he would such huge or this skilled. As her getting wetter by the sec, then Naruto had two of his fingers into her, which makes May's even louder than before. Then, Naruto left her lower half upward and holds her in place as he starts ing her legs lightly, then starts ing her, which makes May's 3 times louder. After ing her for good 10 minutes and he stops, are you ready? Asked Naruto as he removes his tongue from her as May's is overflowing of its juice. Please, just me, yelled May as she couldn't take it anymore, and Naruto just smirks as he gets her in the missionary position as he has his rock hard against her as he gets ready to her. As you wish. And then, he thrust his into her, rough and hard as May screams like she screamed before as she has a tight, which is from stress after all, without having any form of relief for a long time. Does that? Damn, you are tight as hell, said Naruto as he grabs her hips. And he goes full on beast on her with her screaming louder and louder, and she loving it as her and inner walls are being spread wiper. Oh sweet Kami. You're like the god of, yelled May. And so, they go at it what seems like hours on end. Naruto now has her in doggy style while groping her s with May screaming for more as she losing her mind badly. Naruto kisses her to stop her from screaming as she kisses back, with his going deeper and deeper as it now hitting against her womb, which makes May's even more tighter the before onto Naruto's, he thrusting his more into her until he unleashes his first load of cum as it filling up May's insides as well as she screams out, coming. As her tongue is touching Naruto's and she had cum as well. Naruto then sits her up on his lap and s while grabbing her s asking, so are you willing to swear your body to me? As May breathing hard while blushing as she says, why yes, I'm forever's yours, said May as Naruto smirks as he about to her again for the next round as they not going to stop anytime soon. Over time skip couple downs later. At the center of Land of Water, Water Daimyo's home. A man wearing a light yellow kimono along with the traditional daimyo headgear as he looked on in terror as he sees that he's being attacked by not only the Dragon Empire, but also his country's own ninjas, the Mist, or rather the former Mist ninjas, as the attack is both by land and sea, but mostly sea as Whitebeard leads the ships to battle. And by land, it was Naruto armored up leading the samurai and former Mist ninjas into battle. The Water Daimyo says, why is this happening? Why have the ninjas of Kuriga turning they backs on they own country? But I was right not trust them. Ninjas are nothing more than backstabbers. As he tightened his hand hard, as his son a young man come up behind his father as he says, Father, what's going on? Why are we being atta? He was cuts off when one of 3 dragons caught the Water Daimyo with her claws, and flew him toward her father. Then a cannonball hits the wall. As it also hits the support beam and destroying it. Without it, the top part of the tower no longer safe as it collapses under the sun's feet and he falls down and he would have fall to his death but however he got caught by the other dragon as she carries him around as she set the home of the water daimyo's home ablaze. As the soldiers are taking down the water daimyo's samurais to either knock out or with no other chosen but to kill them, as Naruto keeps walking as he is dodging every sword strike from the samurai with them lost as how was he able to dodge with ease. They heard a roar, as the samurais see the massive dragon lands behind the man that's leading the attack as they hear Naruto say, "Bahamut, mind taking them out?" As Bahamut does a tail whip toward the samurais and pushing them away from Naruto as Naruto says, "Thank you, now Pyro and Sapphire put them down in front of me." As Pyro and Sapphire put the father and son on the ground. The father and son looked up at Naruto, as the son say, "Who are you? And why are you doing this?" Said the son of the water daimyo, "Oh, who I am is the emperor of the Dragon Empire and why I am doing this is your father let the civil war happen because it was all fun for him to watch the civil war letting his people kill each other." Said Naruto as the son, "We could talk about his," and he stopped talking when a sword is by his face as the sword is held by Naruto. "Sorry, but that kind of thing is something I only do with civilians, never with leaders of other nations or countries as I've been tricked there so many times," said Naruto as he moves his sword closer to the son of water daimyo's face but Altair put his hand on Naruto's shoulder and whispered in his ear. "We came for the father but I have an idea for what we can do with the man's son," said Altair with his assassin outfit on as Naruto says, "Very well, but he's your responsibility and if he tries do something that's out of line or backstab any of us, end him," said Naruto as he walks away with Altair bows as he says, "Of course my lord." Well now I think that the former water daimyo shall be on trail. With everything he has done he must answer for all enemies stand down now. With that the water samurai put down their weapons and put their hands above their heads. The next day, the home of the former daimyo. Naruto is sitting on the chair of the former water daimyo as he sees one huge group as it now splits into two with the water daimyo's son standing by Altair as he is now wearing clothes of the assassin order. Naruto sees the water symbol fall and the Dragon Empire's symbol rise. "Now then, I had asked you lot to who want to join and only half of you," he looks to his left, "had accepted my offer, so the other half, will put to death by doing that could save of what's of their own honor," said Naruto as the half that didn't join nods. "That is right, we refuse to serve the man who dishonored us." Said one of them, "How have I dishonored you? I may be a warrior but even I know when to quit fighting. I had your lord by the throat. Even I know when to quit. But I have not dishonored you in any way but you are dishonoring yourselves by doing this." Naruto said right to the samurai. As he sighs, "Very well, you have a few hours to say your goodbyes toward your loved ones as well as performing the seppuku," said Naruto as he feels like that he can't talk them out of it but maybe their loved ones can. Time skip. Naruto is on the way to the Amazon village. With two of his children. One is wearing assassin's gear and welding hunga mungas along with assassin weapons. This is Hunter. First, strongest of two and his moniker is that of a Shadow Emperor. He is also a tactician. The other guard is wearing huntsman gear with a bow arrows and hunting knives. His name is Jason the Huntsman, the second, strongest of the two. There's more to them that's because they part of a group called Warlords, and they are much stronger than Naruto's generals. The reason why is because Jason and Hunter along with three others were trained by Naruto since a year after Naruto escaped from hell. As Naruto asks, "Hunter, Jason, why are you following me?" and one of them answers him, "Your wives our mothers wanted us to go with you," said Hunter as Naruto sigh again, "Of course, they always worry about me non-stop," said Naruto. "Yes they do," said Jason. "I have a mission for Max and Sig. Max is to take some samurai and go to Iron Country and talk to Mifune and Sig. I want him and the Vikings to attack the Hidden Sound village," said Naruto as all three of them arrived of the location which is in the air met with a large group of Amazon kunoichi with weapons at the ready. "It seems that we arrived at the Nadeshiko village, so Hunter, Jason head back to the base without me since they do allowed only one man, said Naruto, and his sons nod as they are about to head back to base. As one of them say, that is correct, and who are you? Said the guards as Naruto shows them the Dragon Empire symbol as he says, my name is Naruto and I am the Emperor of the Dragon Empire. I wish to speak with your leader of your village. As both female guards look at each other as Hunter says. My father is not really someone you want to test. And when he said that, the two lady guards have they weapons at his neck as Naruto says, did I say for you two to head back? And Jason says, but father. We can't just. He gets cut off by Naruto unleashing some of his power, as he says, do I need to say it again? As Hunter and Jason sweating a bit in fear as they bow as they, no father, we are sorry for our rudeness, said both of them head on back to base. While the guards are picking themselves up off their knees after feeling the power of Naruto's. And like that, one of the lady guards heads inside of the village to inform the leader of their village about the visitor. As they were walking, the Amazons are looking at Naruto with shock. But then, Naruto hears a voice of a man with glasses long with a massive puppet tries makes it way in the village by climbing on the wall as he talking to himself, once I finally defeated the daughter of the Nadeshiko's leader and becomes its new leader and I will rule. Naruto jumps at him and grabs his face and slams him into the ground and say, you know, you really shouldn't talking about your plans out loud that everyone could hear you, and also by the looks of you. You aren't they type since they would only accept the strong after all, said Naruto as he drags him as the man tries says. What makes you so sure that they will accept you? Asked the man as Naruto then slams him on the ground causing a crater to form in the ground. Well, let's see, I have went through a lot throughout my whole life, and that alone made me strong. I went through war and fought with all my might, what about you? My glass-wearing friend, said Naruto. He hears clapping and he turns to see the leader whose name is Diana and she's from DC Comics, or rather known as Wonder Woman, which she gained during the last Ninja War. Diana says is she very impressive toward Naruto as she finished clapping, none have spoken then truer words, Emperor Naruto, as Naruto looks at her figure as he says, just Naruto is fine and you must be the leader of the Nadeshiko's leader, Diana aka Wonder Woman, right? She has long black hair as her S look to be double H cup with killer hips as she wears warrior-like outfit, with a blue skirt with a red sleeves chest piece as it holding back her S with a golden, W-like symbol on it. As the guards takes away the man with the glasses as he name is Kokuyo. But I will say it is an honor to meet you. Plus I heard what a toad sage did peeping on you. He is a idiot. Said Naruto as Diana tighted up her hand into a fist as she says, yes, what you heard is true and I want kill him so bad. When I first heard that he got away, as it clears that she wanted to kill him badly. Oh, but he tried to spy on my empire. He is now on an island with not but Okama and the leader is able to change gender of anyone. Naruto said smiling evilly. Okama Island. Said Diana as she founds the name odd but doesn't matter as she's happy about the old toad sage get what he asking for. Anyway, come inside, I have the feeling you're here to talk about something. Said Diana. While they head inside, Naruto shows her a picture of who lives on the island and Diana starts to laugh. Behind them is a girl who seems to be the same age of Naruto with longer black hair and green as she wearing warrior-like clothes as she has S about double G. She is Shizuka, and she's the daughter of Diana, and she seems a bit cold. Mother, why are you laughing with this man? Asked Shizuka with a bit of venom. Well, he's showing me photo of a man that I hated so much because he peeped on me when I was your age and got away. Even one of our bests at the time couldn't catch him, said Diana. But Naruto was able to catch him and sent him to Okama Island, which is full of crossdressers, plus the leader is able to change anyone's gender, even his own, said Diana. Shizuka just humps as she sees her mother talking more with this person. At the throne room, Diana is sitting on her throne as she looks toward Naruto as all the kunoichi of Nadeshiko are also looking toward Naruto as Diana says, now then, what do you speak of? Said Diana. As Naruto says, straight to the point, huh? Very well, I'm here to form an alliance, as Diana raised a brow in question. A alliance? May I ask why? Said the leader of the Nadeshiko as she founds this very curious. Naruto nods. That's right, and you're open to ask anything you want in return, and I can make it happen, said Naruto. Diana looks at him thinking. Anything you say. Very well, if you beat me and my only daughter Shizuka in battle, you will have our hands in marriage, said Diana as her daughter as in shock that her mother would do this. Mother. Why are you doing this? Said Shizuka, and Diana answers her daughter, sweetie, with where the toad sage is now I don't think he will have a new apprentice at all. Plus you need some love, you are not getting any younger. Plus I want grandkids and I do want another child anyway, said Diana as Shizuka tightened up her fists and before she could say anything. Very well. Let's take this outside, said Naruto as he walks outside as everyone follows him. As he does this he takes off his shirt and seals that away and undo a genjutsu that he placed and everyone sees the scars he has gained during the war, the kind that couldn't be healed by anything at all, and not only they tried to stop themselves from dropping from the sight of his muscles as they are just in the right places. They reach the arena and Naruto turns to them and asks, "Are you ready?" As he gets in a stand as a sign that he's ready to fight, so Diana and Shizuka does the same as everyone waiting to see who will make the first move. Until Diana does it as she charged toward him at top speed. When she gets closer Naruto with faster speed dodges as grabs her arm and throws over his shoulder in order to toss her, but however Diana's reaction was enough for her to put him a hold with her legs on his head. With that Naruto grabs her legs and with strength from the war price them off and throws her into her daughter. Shizuka catch her as she placed Diana down that she could recovered as Shizuka starts a quick set of hand signs as wind chakra forms on her hand, Nadeshiko style. Hardliner Gale Fist, said Shizuka as she changed toward Naruto with it. Naruto arm turned black thanks to the haki and their fists met. As a massive backlash of wind as everyone felt it as Diana take this chance to strike Naruto again, when she about to punch Naruto to his face, but Naruto caught it without looking with his free hand with instant fauces. Then he throws both mother and dog there in the air as he hold up his hand and starts gathering chakra on the palm of his hand until it forms a sphere of chakra. No, this won't do, let's add in some in yin and yang, said Naruto as he summons white and black chakra and add them into the sphere as it becomes. The sphere looks like the yin-yang symbol as it's spinning within it as Naruto vanishes from sight, and everyone are shocked that he could move that fast, until they hear, yin-yang style. Rasengan! Yelled Naruto with the kunoichi of Nadeshiko turned to see Naruto hitting Diana and Shizuka by Naruto's jutsu as a flash of light and darkness is seen. Diana and Shizuka are thrown back by it as bit of their armor, clothes gotten a bit torn as the Rasengan fades away as he waits for them to get up. Diana enough and decides to go full force as she uses a jutsu that makes her strong as a god as it making her glow in wonder. Upon seeing this, Naruto is curious about this as he says, "Oh. So that's the jutsu that gotten you the name of Wonder Woman, huh?" As Diana charges toward him. Naruto has his full body black with Buso Shokuhaki along with red chakra as he says to himself, "That's rare of you to help me out, my dear prisoner. Let's do this," as he stands in waiting for Diana to get close enough. Which she did as she about to hit Naruto with her fist ready, but Naruto grabs her fist before it could hit him as Naruto hits Diana's stomach with a red chakra-infused fist, but he's making sure not hit her too much as the blow of it sends her flying toward the wall on the left with everyone quickly move out of the way as Diana is passed out. As it now leaves with Naruto and Shizuka, with Shizuka take this chance to strike the leader of the empire down with other wind chakra infused her whole body as she dashes toward him as Naruto is looking away from her. I got him now, as she about 5 inches away from him, she's about to strike with her hand straight like a spear but Naruto caught it as he ain't looking at her but that was a trap as Shizuka goes for a kick to his side with her thinking that he couldn't react fast enough to catch it. But she was proved wrong when a chakra arm forms on Naruto's side as it catches her leg. Shizuka is surprised by this as Naruto turns to her as he say, "Checkmate," as he tosses Shizuka toward where Diana but with Shizuka hits the wall next to Diana as both of them passed out. Naruto looks at them and knows he won. He raised his hands to the sky and let out his war cry. Once he's done that, Naruto goes over to them and thanks to his time in the war in the West, he had pick up healing justice. As he heals them, the wounds are healed up as two kunoichi came over to help Naruto and their names are Dinah aka Black Canary and Natasha Romanoff aka Black Widow. Naruto to her as he sees her long blonde hair with blue eyes as she wearing a dark purple jacket with black leotard which holding her double GS with net stockings as it showing off her legs as she seems like a fighter. As the other one Natasha or Black Widow with her short red hair as she has a beautiful face yet she seems very cold as she wearing skin tight suit with a golden belt with a red hourglass as the skin tight suit is hugging her hourglass figure as her SRG cup. Well, I never thought I would meet the famous Black Widow and Black Canary. It is an honor, said Naruto with honesty in his voice as Black Widow doesn't say anything as Black Canary smiles. Oh, I won't have guessed that I would have a emperor as a fan, said Black Canary. As they head over to the bedroom of Diana to rest up, Naruto tells them what happened to the Toad Sage and where he is and like Diana both of them laugh after seeing the pictures. Time skip 2 hours later. Diana and Shizuka wake up and found themselves in Diana's room and on her bed. Before they say about anything, they hear the shower running which is Diana's, so Diana goes over to it. Shizuka sits there as she watches her mother opens the door of the restroom and enters in. As she waits, she talks to herself in her mind about of what happened. Why did mom agree to this? I am not ready to be married at all. Then she noticed that her mother hasn't come out. What's going on in there? Said in her mind, as she gets up and heads inside of the restroom and she turns into shock as she sees. Starts now. Naruto is groping Diana's tits making her in pleasure. So I won the fight, does that mean I can take you as my wife now? Asked Naruto who then her neck. Yes, take me, make me your wife and my daughter as well. Please me, it has been too long, said Diana as she loving the feeling of her being groped by her new husband. I have to ask you Diana, am I allowed to claim other women as mine from this village? Asked Naruto while moving his left hand to her. Why yes. Why you can, said Diana as sheing like crazy while blushing as she thinking how she's the most toughest and hardest kunoichi of Nadeshiko is letting herself like this, and letting her new husband take more women from the village. She doesn't know that he has more than one wife already and that she has giving in to her new husband already. I see. Now let's enjoy ourselves, said Naruto as he starts twisting her which makes her even louder than before as Shizuka is watching them while blushing badly as she noticed the size of Naruto's as she thinks it's way bigger than she had learned from her lessons and books. Why don't you show your new husband some love and said Naruto as Diana says, as you wish husband Sama, as she gets on her knees as she thinking that Naruto has such huge as she starts ing on the sides of it while blushing badly. She keeps ing the sides of Naruto's more and more, and Naruto is enjoying it. He puts his hand on her head and says, I wonder what your people will say if they see this. You are on your knees ing my like as Diana, only to you since you defeated me, I'm yours as well my daughter is it part of my village ways, said as she is rubbing Naruto's against her cheek. That is right, but now it is not only you and your daughter that will join my bed, it will be your whole village, even the Black Widow and Black Canary will all be mine and bearing my kids, said Naruto. If that's what you want, so let it be, since after all you're in charge of this village now, said Diana as she resumes ing Naruto's, then she takes his into her mouth. Then she starts ing it only to found out it's too for her take all of it in her mouth. This is huge, bigger than my last lover. I don't think that I will be able to think of any other man than my husband Sama. This will break me. As she bobbing her head faster and faster while ing the sides of Naruto's while it's in her mouth, Naruto is ing looking at his new wife. While Shizuka is watching this, she does not know that earlier Naruto made a clone. That clone has just grabbed her which she in surprise. And he has his hand under her pants and panites and to his surprise of how wet her is. Oh, so watching your mother and both of your new husband really turned on, well that is not a surprise. I can't wait to you both, said the clone as he is removing her clothes, and Shizuka is thinking, why isn't she stopping him at all? As in the restroom, Naruto unleashes his first load of cum into Diana's mouth. Oh, I love the feel of your mouth, but now I want to feel your tits on my, said Naruto as Diana says, but I want your in me. There's a burning need that only your could satisfy it. As she has the look of begging which makes her look both hot and why as well. Upon this, Naruto's gets even more harder than before. Oh, who am I to deny one of my women? Show me that yof yours, said Naruto as he sees Diana gets up and bends over as she has her hands on the wall as she has her fat white toward as she's shaking it as her is leaking out a lot of its juice. The next thing she hears is smack, as she felt Naruto's hand on her cheek as Naruto says, now then, I want you to beg more Diana, beg me to you, with a smirk on his face as he has his under her as he silding it lightly against her. Please me destroy my shape it to your and make sure that you are the only one allowed to me. Please give me another child, I beg you, begged Diana as Naruto smirks even bigger as he thrust his into her with Diana screams stop of her lungs with her yelling out, oh goddess, you're so huge, husband Sama. As for Shizuka and Naruto's clone, Shizuka is on her knees giving Naruto's clone a tit. Shizuka is blushing like crazy as she moving her s up and down on the clones as he enjoying it greatly. Your s are crazy soft. I bet you take it after your mother, huh? Said the clone of Naruto as Shizuka is blushing even more as she looks away. Then the next thing she knows, as she founds herself on a top of the clone with his in front of her face as she blushing real bad, what is he going to do now? The real Naruto is ing my mother. As she could hear her mother scream from the rest which the words are. Yes, me give my daughter a little sibling to dote over, boy or girl, I don't care, just fill up my womb with another child, show the outside world that the leader of the Amazon-like village belongs to her baby's father. Let them watch as my belly gets bigger with our baby. Please more, yelled Diana behind the restroom door. As Shizuka is thinking that this Naruto person must be a beast not only in battle, but also in bed, so she ing it while blushing badly but stops when she feels the clones and finger on her as she s loudly as she blushing even more red. Back with Naruto and Diana. You know, I think your daughter can hear you telling me to give her time mother another child and having other men see your womb swell with our child, said Naruto while he is groping her s while still ing her from behind. Yes, I know, but I really want another child badly. Diana screams louder as she feels Naruto's going in deeper into her as Naruto has an idea as he lifts her up and carries her out of the restroom while his is still inside of her. An hour later, Naruto looks upon Diana and Shizuka on each other with Shizuka on top as their stomach are swell that they look about a 3-month pregnant. Now then, we not going to stop anytime soon, said Naruto as he hears them say, husband Sama please us more, said both of them with Shizuka rubbing her against Diana's and Diana is doing the same thing. And Naruto just smirks even more as he knows this will be a long time as he about to do even more. Over. Many hours later. Naruto is laying with Diana and her daughter with their stomachs swollen and they look to be 15 months pregnant. Naruto's hands are on their s and they are happy that their husband is a beast in bed. 2 more for my harem and a whole village ready to be ed into my harem. At Konoha, near midnight, at Yuhi's family home. Kurenai has been in the archive of her old home all day long, as she looking those scrolls and files which are very old as she looking for what she needs to found as there was too much to look though. She picked a book and pulled it forward, but it was not an ordinary book, it was a switch which opened a secret passageway. The book she pulled out of instinct was the book of her family tree. She enters the passageway and it leads to a secret room with books and a symbol. But not Konoha's no another symbol, it was a black dragon on one side with a phoenix on the other side facing each other. This must be, she couldn't go any further, she was in shock from the floor which she quickly moves away as she sees a seal on the floor, then she remembers that her father telling there was a safety seals. That's what father meant at that time, I thought he meant to protect our home, and what else did he say? Said Kurenai as she tries to remember. But it's so long for her, Then by instinct and the power of the seals it shows her how to deactivate it. Which awakens memories of her family, showing her something which are the hand signs as she remembers meeting him at sunset. Now then Kurenai, pay close attention. What I'm about to show you is highly secret in our family, as he starts forming hand signs, kinds that she never seen before as she tries doing them herself, but however, also remembers that her father stopped before he could do the last hand sign. Yuhi-san. Come quick. The Kyuubi is attacking. As the memory ends there. No. I don't know the last one. The one that I need to disable the seal here. Said Kurenai as she felt defeat. Then like nothing the seal glows, sensing the Yuhi blood in her and a book that's above Kurenai, and it trips over and falls onto Kurenai's head, which hurt. Ouch! She shouted as she rubs her head, grumbling. Then she looks at the book, and to her surprise the book is showing the page to deactivate the seal. Yes. Father must have thought of this, or maybe someone did in case something. There's only one left of our family, said Kurenai as she performs the hand signs, and like that, the seal that protects the knowledge of the lost royal family. So she walks toward it and opens it, but however, it seems that time wasn't kind, as the words are very faded and very hard to read, but there one word that she could read, and that word is Namikaze. Then she turns the next page, the book, to the first page, and she is shocked by what she sees. It is a picture of an adult Naruto, but his name is not Naruto, it is Ryu Arashikage. His moniker is the same as the new emperor. Ryu the Conqueror, who conquered all kingdoms of West and made the empire called, but however she couldn't read the name as it too fade to read. But still she couldn't believe what she found, as she keeps reading, and it says he was a very cruel man who had been overthrown by his kinder son who brought a golden age of the empire, but it ended about 3 centuries later with the new emperor who was a very cruel man. The story went on and on then to the last emperor, and his family had to flee to the east. But that's where it stops, as the last of it are damaged, as she noticed bite marks, most likely by rats or moths or something. She couldn't understand why, but she looks around and sees more books, and they are in pristine condition. Kurenai is kind of then she has come to an answer. Naruto was the heir to the emperor's throne. But her can't be sitting on it now. Nobody, not even the Westerns, have seen him, so he could not be sitting on the throne right now. But they're just theories. She needs more proof, so she needs to head over the west to found any proof that she could foo. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid you can't leave with that, said a voice of a Anbu with root on his mask. Yes, but you won't be able to take anything, says Kurenai, who reactives the seal, but he wasn't alone, and as other try to stop her from doing so, but they were too late. Not by the seal on the floor, no, there were more guardians. The pictures of the warriors of old start to move and come alive, and they attack the root Anbu and kill them all but one. Then one of the guardians turns toward her. So you are the last Yuhi. It is time you take up the job of your ancestors and protect all of this knowledge and keep it out of these bastards. Had the blood seals should have stopped them, said the guardians as Kurenai about to go to inform Tsunade, but however, the guardian stops her as they sense of what she's going to do. You can't leave and inform your leader, said other guardian as the others stopping her. What? Said Kurenai as she lost about this. Kurenai's family compound. As Kurenai has been trying reason with the living statues to let her go to inform the Hokage about the family, but they won't budge, as one of them says, the only way we let you leave is to join the one your family swore to protect. That also means who he is, says that lead statue. As Kurenai says, but that doesn't have anything to do with me. That's just some ancient oath that my forefathers made long ago. As she is getting angry. The wording was, as long as there's one Yuhi left, we will protect the emperor or empress family and secrets. You will find the new emperor is to have you by his side, says the lead statue as Kurenai replies, what you are asking me to do is turn rouge on the village that I sworn to protect. Are you that bond to some agreement? As she trying found a way to get out. And if you stay here they may use you to get the info in this room, and maybe as a breeder, and you have wondered why the emperor was kind to you while you were imprisoned. You need to leave to protect the last heir of the emperor's line. It is your duty to do this job. You must do this, it is your destiny, said the lead statue. Kurenai is just getting more angry about this as she wishes these things were some way for her get away with the info she has found. The lead statue looks to the door, then slams the sword into the ground, and the barrier around the house is stronger than any other seal. You don't belong here. Because you are a Yuhi, sworn protector of the royal family. If you do deliver these to the leader of this village, then you are no Yuhi. Plus, what would your father say? He would have turned his back on this village cause he is well others before him, says the lead statue. Kurenai is shocked but then thought about it more. Yes, he would have, even though he grew up in Konoha. So she sits down as she goes into deep thinking. Meanwhile, at the Nadeshiko, Diana's bedroom, Naruto is sleeping on the bed with Diana and Shizuka when there was a knock at the door and Naruto wakes up by it, so he gets up as the mother and daughter duo didn't want him to go as they also wake up. Naruto opens the door and says, "What is it?" And what's more, he doesn't any clothes and underwear on. Fleur is a woman with a very French maid outfit as she holding clean sheets and blankets, and what's next? She noticed that Naruto is the one who answered the door, and to see that ease. Fleur blushes a very healthy crimson, as she looking toward Naruto's as Naruto says, "Is something the matter?" As he does notice her blush as Fleur says with a blush on her, I'm here to see change the sheets, as she tries to look away but just can't. Okay, but first your name please gorgeous, says Naruto as Fleur blushing even more. It's F Fleur de Delacour S sir. Says Fleur, as Naruto sees of what she's wearing then checks out her figure. She has double FS and wide hips with that would turn many heads. Oh, she is so going to get conquered, thought Naruto as he lets her in, and when he about to grabs her, someone come in and says, "Excuse me, but there are Samui, Satsuki and Grafia here to see you Sir M." She stops as the emperor turns around and she blushes as bad as her daughter Fleur. "Oh, they're here," says Naruto as he walks out, as the other maid Apolline, who is Fleur's mother, as she drops to her knees as she says, he's huge in so many ways, with a deep red blush on her. "Oh Apolline, you might join him in his bed with my daughter, and I must meet these three women," says Diana as she gets dressed up. In the throne room, Samui, Satsuki and Grafia are looking around as Samui says, "Not bad, it's almost like the Amazon of back home," and Satsuki says, "Well, they're part of the same clan but split long ago during when the wall was built," as she read fact from a book when she was little, and to see the wall gone it feels good as a two more both acting as a guards for them while checking them since all three of them are 5 months along since getting pregnant. "So what brings my beloved wives all the way here?" says Naruto as he noticed the fourth person as he says, "Oh. Sarah's. Mia. I didn't know that you both were here." As both look at Naruto but blushing badly as Sarah says, well, we can't just let anything bad happen, the future heirs of the empire after all, as she has short blonde hair as she's one hell of a figure with huge double is and killer hips as she wearing a brown uniform that just shows off her body. "Agreed, it would not be good for the empire beloved," said Mia as she long light purple as she wearing a black combat clothes as it hiding her figure, as she too is blushing badly but she her lips. As Samui says, "Anyway, the reason we are here is because to see how the invasion is going so far." As she smiles, Naruto walks up to her and kisses her on the lips while rubbing her pregnant stomach. "Everything are going well after all, 2 countries are now part of the empire. And I have the Warborn to go snake hunting," says Naruto. "Oh, and also I will inform Gaara to kill off the Wind Daimyo, and claim it in the name of the Dragon Empire," says Naruto as Satsuki says, "That's good, and also why are you? Don't get me wrong, I don't mind, but still," as she been wondering about this. Then Diana and her daughter arrived. "Oh, just 2 new wives," said Naruto as Samui says, "Cool, hello, I'm Samui, one of Naruto's wives and right now pregnant with Naruto's child." Diana and Shizuka are shocked their new husband has more wives and some look to be pregnant but they're let it go as didn't come up to them. "Hello Samui, I'm Diana, better known as Wonder Woman. I gained that nickname during the last war, and this is my daughter, Shizuka. Well, welcome to the family, it is nice to see that you have joined us," said Grafia with a hand on her pregnant stomach, And like that there start talking is Naruto, who went to inform the Warborn but getting clothes first, then he remembered he told his two sons to do that. Oh right, I told that. I guess I am go over to the lighting country, but first, some training, says Naruto as he goes over to the training grounds of the village, but first clothes. Meanwhile at the Kumo of lighting country. At the office of Raikage. Raikage is rubbing his head by the cause he had heard of what's going on and he believed that his home is next. Damn it all, what caused this invasion even happen? As a team stands there with his brother named Killer, who is busy wrapping something. Don't know, sir, said Mabui as she holding her files as Karui stands up and says, our Raikage, can we make a request? And Raikage stops of what he's doing, and looks toward her. What is it, Karui? Is it important? Says Raikage, as Karui says, yes, is it? Me and Omoi want to track down the Emperor, and ask him about Sa. Why do you want to find her? Yelled the Raikage. She might be able to convince him to spare Kumo, says Omoi as Raikage says, she turn her back on us, Karui, she turn on our backs for some brat. Is he getting pissed off, but the team is not backing down, and then Karui says, the brat you called him was banished from Konoha for completing a mission to bring a traitor back, which he did, and he held a biju. Then a massive fist slams onto the desk, and it's Raikage's, I don't give a damn. She turned traitor and just left. It doesn't matter what the brat has. And if you still believed that she has some loyalty left toward her old home, she would have come back. Says the leader of Kumo. Fine then, don't let us, we are trying to save our home, which seems to me that you don't care about Kumo anymore. Shouted Karui, who has had it with the Raikage as he had it, as he breaks his desk in half with his fists as he says, that's where you are wrong. I'm trying to set up a meeting with the Emperor himself. Then let us find Samui, she might be able to convince him to meet you. Said Karui as Raikage just growls upon this, as sighs upon this as he isn't sure about this. Meanwhile somewhere at the land of sound, as a group known as the Warborn are walking around, as the leader of the group says, does anyone knows how to found this snake? As he has a spear. Father said that there is a clan that is called the Fuma clan, we can ask them, Raider, says the youngest member of the Warborn. As he has a bow on his back, as other with a warhammer on shoulder, as he says, we could do the boring part, or the fun part, and by fun I mean burn every hole we found and see what pops out, says the Warhammer user. No, father's orders are clear, we can burn the Sound Village, but the Fumas are to be left alone, plus they are weapon makers. Said Siegfried with his faithful sword by his side. Fine, Siegfried, but if they try make one wrong move, I'm ending them, says the Warhammer user as his name is Drake, as the leader with a Dane axe named Raider. Brothers, focus. We will talk about it since we found the Fuma clan and then see if they are willing help us or not, says the leader. As all three of them, yes, Raider, and like that there keep walking, but little did they know, they are being followed, which there quite a few of them as there go for the but then got pinned by the Warborn since they are all ready for them. So you are looking for the Fuma clan? Says one of them as they're wearing masks to hide their faces. Yes, we have some questions for them, now come out so we can talk. Said Siegfried. Then look no further, cause we are the Fuma clan, and what do you want with us? Says other one. Siegfried steps forward and says, we need to find the Sound Village, there is a snake that my father wants died or alive. So you after Lord Orochimaru? Fat chance. We ain't talking no what yo. Raider then swings his Dane axe, removing his head. Now will you answer, or do we have to beat it out of you? He asked, threatened, look up what he looks like, male skin 3 from For Honor. Then one of them says, I will tell you everything you want. Please don't hurt them, says one whose sound like that of a girl. What is your name, girl? Asked Siegfried as he looks toward her. My name is Sesame Fuma, and you are? Asked Sesame, who take off her mask to show her face. My name is Siegfried, adopted son of the Emperor, and we are ordered to deal with Snake Face cause he will be in my father's way of dealing with the nations. Says Siegfried, and like that she tells him even though the others to shut up and don't say anything else. At Konoha, Tsunade is in her office, as she thinking what she say because, soon enough, she has to tell the whole village that there's an invasion going on and two of the elemental countries had fallen by the Dragon Empire, and she didn't want to inform them of this, there's already too much in hand as it is. Tsunade sighs then, and Anbu told her that the Yuhi compound has unwanted guests. What? But Kurenai is there. Just what is going on here? As she holding her head, as she doesn't know what to do. And the Anbu says, but there are no worries, we have them covered and taken them out soon and gets reports soon. Tsunade feels relief about it as she says, good, now Kurenai could come back here and tell us if she had found anything. Lady Hokage. Two more Anbu appeared in a flash of leaves. The enemies that were at around the compound of the Yuhi were found inside and killed, and we also find a hidden room, but it's empty except for this, as the Abihu is a female, as she place a headband and a letter. Meanwhile at the Yuhi compound. After the Anbu removed the dead root and the Anbu were out, a barrier went up and the Anbu tried to get back in but they couldn't, as one asks, what is going on? Back at the Hokage office. Tsunade picks the letter as she starts reading as she quickly realizes that it's Kurenai's handwriting as it says. After some thinking, as well talking with the statue guardians that were left behind many years ago, I must keep up my family's long duty, so I must leave Konoha and find the emperor. It is my job to do this, so it is with a heavy heart that I must leave Konoha without telling you anything that I found in the secret room. My family's compound is now on lockdown and no one can enter. I'm sorry, Kurenai Yuhi. As Tsunade finished reading it, she crush it and throw it on the ground, then says, why do things keep getting worse? As she doesn't know what to do anymore. She knows that Kurenai is gone with all the knowledge as well. As the Uchiha compound, Sasuke is packing his thing as he planning to leave Konoha once again, and this time, there no one going to stop him for getting more power, and once he does, he will go to the Dragon Empire, kill its emperor and takes his place as its new superior's emperor, but first, he must go to the Snake Sanin, Orochimaru. But then, he hears something going on outside, so he went outside to see what's going on. As he left the Uchiha district, he noticed every villager from young to old as well ninjas from the lowest and highest rank are heading toward the gates. At Kanata Gate, the ninjas saw people with Viking weapons with 5 people leading them. They did not know this was a small raid to let Kurenai get farther away, and what's more, they have something's that's bleeding and dead as it resting on spears. As Siegfried and his brothers and sisters in Viking arms stand there as they're waiting for the leader of this place called Konoha, as of the Vikings says, how long do we have to wait? This is getting very boring, Siegfried, as all of them see more and more ninjas of Konoha forming around them with their kunais in hand, which they're found it cute. Hang on a minute. Where the hell is your leader? One of you idiots get the leader or else. Yelled Siegfried as Kakashi come up to them, and why should we listen to you, stranger? Says as he has his eye of his fallen friend out. Unless you want to see what happened to the Sound Village, which we can do to Konoha. Then I suggest you get your leader. Said Siegfried with the Vikings getting their weapons ready like they are saying, try it, we dare you. And before Kakashi says anything as he looks upon the thing that they had brought. What he sees is some kind of massive white snake as it seems made up of other snakes as it bleeding out where it got pierced by the spears as it holding it in place. Before I do, Jay, just what is that thing anyway? Says the curious Kakashi, and the same goes for the others. This is the snake Sanin that my father wanted dead. Then he adds in, or rather his true form, says Siegfried as Kakashi looks back at in shock, that's Orochimaru. And you're telling me, what everyone had tried and failed to take down is him, but you and their people had successed. How can that be? Says Kakashi, as Siegfried just stands there as he says, it doesn't matter, bring your leader here now before me and my brothers and sisters, the war-born repeat hissed. Before he could finish that, Tsunade comes up and says, just what is Goi, oh sweet gods? As she sees the dead snake form of Orochimaru, former teammate, she is shocked to hell and back that these warriors killed this thing like nothing, like they have always have done this. I'm Tsunade Senju, 5th Hokage of Konoha, and what's your reason for being here and just what is that thing? Says Tsunade, as Siegfried says, I'm Siegfried, as why we are here, We here to bring this body of Orochimaru as a warning. A warning for what? Asked Tsunade, but she wasn't finished. And are you saying, that thing is Orochimaru? Says Tsunade as she shocked about this. Yes, he is Orochimaru. Anyway, the warning that the Dragon Empire is coming, for your disrespectful actions toward Emperor and his wives and wives-to-be, says Siegfried as the Vikings now wanted to kill a few. Who is the Emperor? Asked Tsunade as she hoping that they could say the name of the Emperor as she thinks that they don't seem bright, but however, if you were thinking we would say the Emperor's name that easily, then you are wrong. That's what my father, my adopted father and teacher, Naruto Uzumaki had taught us. We mustn't be all muscle, also brains as well, says Siegfried. What Naruto is with the Empire? We thought he died. Says one as other. This can't be. The demon is alive. He should have died. Says a housewife. No way. Naruto is alive. But why is he with the EMP? Gets cuts off by Sasuke. So the loser is alive and taught you, then you are as weak as him. Says the last Uchiha as Siegfried didn't listen to him as he is talking with Tsunade. Sasuke is not happy and attacks Siegfried, but Raider hits him with anvil part of his Dane axe and sends Sasuke flying back onto the ground. Stand aside, weakling, the strong are talking, says Siegfried, as Sasuke is getting more and more angry as he starts gather lighting in his hand as his eyes turn red as he says, I'm no weakling. I'm an Uchiha, one of the Eli. Sasuke couldn't finish as he felt something off. As he sees a blade at his left side, where his left arm should be, then it hits him. His arm has just been cut off, then the anvil of the axe hits him and his feet leave the ground, then his back meets the ground and the axe blade is at his throat. Raider, that is enough. His time will come, and remember the great raid we had in the Sound Village. That was a great raid. Said Siegfried, and Raider hears and nods. Yes, that was a great raid and you are right, his time will come. As he backs away with Sasuke bleeding out of his left arm. Now then, that's done with. We will be on. Tell me where Naruto is. Please. Says Hinata, who passed through everyone. Is she breathing hard? Is she looking at them, as Siegfried looks at her? Why should I tell you? Says Siegfried, as Hinata right away says, because I love him. I need to know if he's alright or not. Please. He is alright, but he is married and I don't know where he is. Says Siegfried as the next thing that Hinata is shocking, then take me to him. I'm willing to leave behind Konoha. I am sorry I can't, cause I don't know where my adopted father is, but that does not mean the Emperor might not want to meet you. Says Siegfried as Hinata nods as she about to takes off her headband, and before anything else, why Hinata? Asked Tsunade as Hinata says, I love him so much that I'm willing turn rouge for high. Very well Hinata, you are very much like your mother, but I do have one request, Mr. Siegfried. Said Hiashi as Siegfried looks at Hashi and asks, what is the one request? He asked, take Hanabi as well, I want them both safe from the elders who are trying to control them, and with Naruto in the Empire they will be safe. Said Hiashi as two of the branch members brought Hanabi with hers and Hinata's belongs. Hinata sees this and she removes her headband, with Hanabi's, who's about 3 years younger than Hinata, as she doesn't understand of what is going on. There left is Tsunade just stand there and doesn't say anything at all, as she just thinking, just keeps getting worse, but at last there is a bright side at this as she looks toward the dead body of the snake Sanin. Couple hours later, Hanabi, who's next to Hinata as she looking the people in Viking gear, as she says, Jay, just what is going on Hinata-Nisan? Why are we going with them? And where are we heading? We are going to meet the Emperor to see if we can live in the Empire and I could finally see Naruto, says Hinata as Hanabi is thinking, but why am I coming along with Naruto? A few days later. Just as Naruto and his men getting ready to go to Kumo and take over the lighting country, one of the guards come up to him and reports to him, Sire. There's a woman wishes to speak with you. Says the guard as Naruto looks at him as he says, make sure everything is ready by the end of the week and inform the Warborn where we are. Now then take me to her, says Naruto. The guard nods and takes Naruto with Fleur and her mother to see the woman, and Samui and Satsuki was already there. Which they looking at one Kurenai Yuhi is there, knowing why is she here for. So tell us, why are you here? And how did you found us anyway? Says Satsuki. Kurenai brings out the book of the bloodline of the royal family and says, this book can tell and show where someone with the royal bloodline of the Emperor long ago. And the book is what brought me here. I have to speak with the emperor. As she looks very tired and worn out. Samui and Satsuki then asked, does anyone else know about this book of yours? As they're thinking that some book. No, the Yuhi clan were sworn guardians, we kept it safe from enemies who would want to use this book to kill the royal line for good. Said Kurenai as Samui says, I see, but is there more members of the Yuhi clan? As Kurenai shakes her head no, I'm the last living Yuhi, all of my family died years ago when Kyubi attacked Konoha, but it doesn't matter, now I'm here to fulfill the oath that my ancestor made years ago, says Kurenai as she looks ready to pass out, which she will do in any minute. Naruto, who is within a steps and sees Kurenai within sight, someone get this woman something soft now. Yelled Naruto as guards show up to Kurenai as they take her to a room to sleep in. But the book drops from her hands as she passes out and Naruto goes to it and picks it up. As he looks at it, what this? Says Naruto as he opens it, and he is looking at himself, but the date is showing that this is an old warrior. He went to turn the page but gets a paper cut but no blood get on it as Naruto says, for an old looking book, its paper can still cut, as he goes inside as he goes though it to found out what this book holds. Meanwhile with the other half the Warborn. Land of water. Where are the others? Asked Runa, a woman with helmet that design of a bird, and is she wearing a leather armor as she has her weapons of a shield and spear as she ready for anything, look her up in for honor, as other one says, you know the emperor gave them a good job to do in rice country then meet us here, says the youngest of the group as he has his hands on the back of his head as his name Ja. Before long, the other group finally arrived with, we arrived. Said a berserker while raising his twin axes in the air as the other that were waiting for them, come up them, as Ja walks up but then he noticed that there are two more, a woman who seems to be the same age as Siegfried adopted father as she has long ink blue hair and white eyes, and then. Ja's heart started to beat fast as hell as he looks upon a young version of the woman but for some reason, he sees hearts around her as well other things, who I is this angel I in front of me? And why am I feeling like this? Says Ja in his thoughts. OOG gods, who is that man? Says Hanabi in her thoughts as she noticed Ja, as the whole group start talking as well asking about the two with them. With Kurenai. Kurenai wakes up in a soft bed and notices that her clothes are gone as well her bra and underwear, and before she could say anything, she hears, oh. You're woke. And don't worry about your clothing as well, your bra and panties. We throwing them away because they're too worn out and get you much better ones, says a maid. Kurenai looks at the maid and says, thank you, I had a long journey. And also, can I speak with the Emperor? Asks Kurenai as the two maids says, well not at the moment miss, he's a bit busy at the moment, as Kurenai asked about that, with what? Master bedroom. Starts. Naruto has Fleur with her back to his chest, he is groping her s with a clone doing the same to Natasha, Dinah and Apolline is all of them ing loudly. Naruto says, tell me, Fleur, do you have anyone you like back home? As he grabbing her s more as Fleur s louder as she blushing badly as she says, and no. I don't. Whom losing her mind badly, and what's more Naruto's is against her and she feels how hard and big it is. Dinah with her double HS, she giving one of Naruto's clones a tit as she ing the tip of his as he says, it looks like that you are enjoying this Dinah-chan. As Dinah stops ing his as she looks at him, yes, I do so much, says as she resumes ing his. As other pair with Natasha on her fours as the second clones is rubbing her hole with his since she has a huge with massive GS as he says, it seems the Black Widow is a goddess without the skin-tight suit. As Natasha says, see cause why you had melt my sea cold heart, while being very nervous about this. As for Apolline is on lap of the third clone's lap with her gigantic is as their s are covering his face with his arms wrap around his sides with his about to enter her, tell me, how badly do you want it? Apolline-chan, says the clone, please me ruin me for other men. Give me another child, says Apolline as she feels his against her. Then Naruto, the real one, has Fleur on top of him as she doing all the work by riding his like there tomorrow with her yelling her heart out, me please claim me as your women please me. As she riding him more and more as it clearly sees that she's lost herself to lust. Dinah is screaming the loudest as she can as she being carried by the clone as he holds her by her legs as he thrusting into her rough and hard, like he's giving it to her rough, you're so huge. Why you is going to break me if you keep it like this. This is the only in the world for you now Dinah-chan, as he thrusting into Dinah's like a madman. Natasha who's screaming while lightly biting her finger as she feels the clone slamming into her like a jackhammer with her yelling out, so rough and hard. It's going to break MMYI in half. The next thing Natasha knows is the clone smacks her, smack. Oh Thesis Titan, I have plans for you. As Natasha screams even louder than before as she going crazy with lust that hearts forms in her eyes. As for Apolline, the clone is ing her in the missionary position with her s bouncing like crazy as she being thrusted by the third clone with her yelling out, you're as bigger than any man alive. If you keep effing me like that I will lose my sanity. Time skip 12 hours. Naruto is walking out of the room and all four of them have their stomachs swollen to look like they were 12 months pregnant with triplets. Naruto had his assassin gear on like when Kurenai and the team came to the Empire, but his hood is off with the book that she brought with her. If I remember right, this book holds many more secrets, but their secrets can only be unlocked by the blood of Yuhi clan, but I feel that's not it, says Naruto as he walking down the hall. What Naruto does not know that the blood of the royal line is needed to unlock the much deeper secrets. Naruto is in deep thoughts. He arrived at the kitchen but gets out of his thoughts cause he noticed that Kurenai is sitting with his pregnant wives, and he leaves them be and he would have, but Diana bumps into him. Oh good morning beloved, says Diana. Like that everyone saw the emperor and said good morning, and then Naruto turned and told Kurenai he wishes to speak to her alone after breakfast. A bit later, Naruto and Kurenai are by themselves as Naruto says, tell me Kurenai, why are you here? And should I expecting a massive group of Konoha ninjas or a small team to try to stop or kill me? Says as he lookings toward her with Kurenai who wearing a simple dress at the moment is she on her knees as she says to him, no, I had left behind Konoha as its ninja to fulfill my family's legacy to serve and protect the last remaining living member of the lost royal family for the emperor from long ago, says Kurenai. As Naruto with his hood to cover all but his mouth with him looking toward her and says, I already know, since I had read this book and what it holds, but there's still more yet to be read, but tell me, who is the last living member of this lost royal family? Says Naruto. The heir to the lost royal family is Naruto Uzumaki, but I don't know where he is, but I have to find him and the book can find the ones with the blood of that family. It lead me here, I had risked of what I had, my future, my life, my home, everything, I left them all behind, just to be what my family done doing, protect the lost royal family, please tell me, where is Naruto? Says Kurenai. As Naruto looks into her eyes, and sees what she did to be here was true, Kurenai has the eyes that abandoned everything she had in Konoha to follow in her family's footsteps. I see. Very well then, if you want to know where Naruto is, he's right here, says Naruto as he takes off his hood to show his face to her, and sitting there Kurenai's eyes widen as Naruto Uzumaki, the Emperor of the Dragon Empire. Naruto. Why you're the Emperor of the Dragon Empire? Says Kurenai, and Naruto says, that's right, and also I will test your loyal that you have claim, just because you were nice to me when I was child, but I don't place trust in words, no, I place trust through actions, as he looking towards her. What is my test? Says Kurenai, as Naruto says, you will know when we arrive at Kumo. Kurenai, as he gets up as walks past her but stops and says, until then, do what you will need to make yourself stronger. Also when you were in that prison cell with the warm bed and food I was paying back a debt I owed you, but that is paid for, as he leaves the room as he gets things ready for the invasion for Kumo. Outside of the walls of Nadeshiko village. The Vikings arrive but with two unforeseen guests with Hinata and Hanabi, looking around as they see people getting things ready for the next battle, but where? That is the question that is going around within their heads, with Hanabi asking, Nichan, why are we here? With the questions. The Emperor is here, I think. Said Hinata. Oh, he's here all right. After all, he isn't the guy to let his soldiers to fight alone, says a nearby soldier with a bag full of food. That's right, he's always been like that before he become the Emperor, says other. Soon enough, everyone start talking about the Emperor. Then, alright, why are you guys talking about me? Asks the Emperor of the Dragon Empire as he walking toward them with his hood on, but then he notice, Siegfried, why is there two Hyugas here? Asks the Emperor. Siegfried bows and says, a father's request to protect his children from the elders of his clan. The Emperor, HMMS, while rubbing his chin, but then he sees Hinata coming up to him as she looking toward him with look of determination and courage, as she says, Emperor sir, I need to know. Do you know where Naruto-kun is? Please tell me. Who's begging him in hopping if he knows where the boy that she both admired and loved since forever? The Emperor looks toward her. Why do you seek him? Do you wish to harm him? Asks the Emperor. No, never, I would never do that, I love him. Says Hinata as the Emperor is thinking, she loves me. As he hides his shock as he asks, you love him? I see, but I'm fear that he's gets cuts off. I already know, yet I still come here. Says Hinata. You are persistent, but unfortunately he is not here. Says the Emperor as Hinata says, then I will wait until I could meet him and I will do anything you ask of me. That's where the Emperor rises a bow at that, even though it can't be seen, anything that I ask of you, will you kill for the man you love? Says the Emperor as he testing her. I would murder anyone for him. Doesn't matter who it is. Says Hinata as the Emperor says, how do you feel about Kumo ninjas? I don't like them much. Says Hinata, as the Emperor, alright then, within a week, we will be heading to Kumo of the Land of Lighting, and I've been getting letters from the Raikage of wanting to talk with me. He doesn't want any bloodshed, but we will how it will end, and I want you to be my guard while I talking with the Raikage, you and another, do this, after the walking or fighting is over, I will tell you where the one you love is, says the Emperor. Hinata nods as she then bows, I will do as you ask, but I use this time to train. Says Hinata, as the Emperor answers, yes, you could, and I want you change your clothes to more suited, because their clothes you are wearing, they are a shell of the past and you must and will leave it behind. Hinata looks down at the clothes and nods. And so she walks away from him as one of the soldiers tell her where to new clothes for her wear and where to change into theirs. A week later, Land of Lighting, Kumo Village. The Emperor who's walking down the street of Kumo as he sees clouds, mountains, and the buildings, and the people who are moving out of their homes, in case of talking for peace failed, and the Emperor isn't alone, he has two with them, two women in fact, they're wearing white masks, with one wearing a black skin-tight outfit that seems made for flexible fighters as holding back her and other who wearing a cape that's her whole body. Both has ponytails with one LNK blue hair and other black, as two are following him. The Emperor approaches the Raikages because the tower is inside the mountain. Here we are. Now then let's see what he wants to talk about. Miss Hyuga, Miss Yuhi, as both say, yes sire, as they walk in. Raikage's office. Raikage A, who's on sit is he wearing for the Emperor to arrived, as he says to Mabui, I'm worried Mabui, that bastard could order his men to start attacking, as Mabui says in order to soothe his nerves, then we must make sure negotiation go perfectly and that means not losing your temper, with Raikage face palming on that. I will try my best, says Raikage, then there hear the knocking, with Karui walks in, Lord Raikage, the Emperor along with two of his guards are here, says Karui as in Raikage says, thank you Karui, send them in. Says Raikage who's starting to sweat now, because this very moment, it could go wrong or preferably well, but he has to be very careful. Then finally the Emperor, the leader of the Dragon Empire who was as a fighter, and leading an army in order to bring peace, as well as freeing it from evil overlords, as he sees the man walking up and sits down with two females standing at his sides as he fist rest against his face and cross his legs. And he says, "Now then, let's the negotiation and the future of your village begin. Tell me, Rakage A, the current fastest man alive, what do you want talk about?" As he looks toward him as he notices that A is sweating and nervous as well, thinking about his words carefully. "I am hoping that we can forge an alliance so THT Kumo can remain like Kiri and not end up like IWA. Now I know you are a very hard man to please, but I am willing to go the distance to gain an ally and not an enemy that my village and I may not be able to stop. I love this village, it is my home," says Rakage A as he's still sweating. The emperor says, "I see, it's make me feel so glad that there few that could swallow their pride for safety of others. Alright Rakage, if let's say I agree to this, what do you want in return? And I must warn you, say anything that would very much anger me, you will become my number one in my list that I would gladly destroy with my bare hands," says the emperor. As Rakage says while thinking them carefully, well, I ask not to destroy my village or harm anyone, and, of course share your resources with us since we will allies after all, and also, he really thinks about it, he truly did, as he says, "See, could you tell me the statues of woman named Samui?" Upon saying that, the emperor looks toward as the two masked woman thought, she's one of emperor's wives. "If you don't mind me asking, Rakage A, why are you asking about Samui? And for what reason?" says the emperor, who talking calm like, but there's a rage slowly rising up, as everyone could feel it as well, seeing his placing his hands together tightly. "Well, she was one of my shinobi before she went rogue, and the reason she went rouge is because of some brat she come across years ago. I won. BOOOMM. Crush. We under attack. It's the Akatsuki. Emperor, do you think you can help us with these urs?" asked as he looking toward him. "We have not agreed on anything yet," said the emperor. "Fine, if you do not wish to help then leave the village." The Rakage shouted, then went out to fight the enemies as one of the masked say, "May I clear the way, sire?" As she awaits for his answer, "No, I have a better idea. I want you to head out and fight but not yet tell the Warborn to ready for battle, and the same for you Miss Yuhi," says the emperor as he both of them nods and heads out. The emperor gets up as he starts popping his joints as he says, "Now then, let's see which members of the Akatsuki are here," and walks out of the room, then the building. The battlefield. A is fight Kisame while Yugito and Kawi are fighting Itachi. B is fighting the zombie duo, as A says while making sure not to get hit by Kisami's sword, "Why are you bastards here?" As Kisame, who is man with blue skin and blue hair, as he looks like bit of a fish of some kind. "Simple really, we here get the 2 and 8 tails Jinchurikis, that's all, so why not you just hand them over and we will be on our way," says Kisame. The Rakage gets very angry, "How about I end your lives? There's no way I'm handing over B and Yugito to you freaks. Not while I'm live and breath." As lighting chakra forms on his body like a armor, as Kisame says, "Oh thank goodness, 'cause I much prefer the hard way, because it's mukmo." Kisame couldn't finished as he gets a drop kick by the masked woman with the ink blue hair, which she spins in midair, then runs as she taking down ninjas that are rogues by disabling them by hitting them on certain points on their bodies, and what's more there's rogues are hired by the Akatsuki as she heading toward outside of Kumo. They hear the clanging of metal and they turn and they see the emperor in very intimidating armor with a very dangerous sword. When he reaches the Rakage, he holds out a hand. The Rakage is very lost but still grabs the offered hand in the warrior's handshake, and the emperor pulls him up. "Early with what I said, I wanted to see what kind of leader you are, and I promise after this I will answer your questions," said the emperor, and the Rakage nods. A war cry is heard and the Warborn have just entered the battle. As A doesn't understand as he says, "I don't understand, why are you helping us?" As the emperor says, "Oh simple really. You had done something that I want see in an ally, never sell out your friends or allies, and clearly you care about them, even though you don't show it, so as of today, we are allies and friends. Since you are now a part of the empire, we will help out." As he seals his armor away as he says, and for that, you deserve see me at my best, as he walks toward Kisame who doesn't get of what is going on. So you're sending some guy in some PJs to fight me? Oh, I'm so scar. He once again couldn't finish as he feels something huge with huge teeth as it piece into his skin as he looks and see a mouth of a dragon is biting onto him, as he hears, well it seems you should blame your looks this time around, after all you happen to look like her favorite food, which happen to be sharks and you look like a shark have fun being dragon food, said the emperor who picked up Samahata from Kisami's hand while the other two dragons are in the sky. With Kisame punking out blood, damn, so this is how I die. Being some snack for a overgrown lizard, says Kisame as he laughs a little as Pyro starts eating him whole as the emperor says, no. Bad Pyro, how many times do I eat you? Always chew your food. Pyro looks at her father then lets out a small roar like a whine and the Raikage is just shocked as he hears the emperor say, don't start with me young lady. Bahamut is dealing with Itachi and Sapphire is dealing with the zombie duo the two masked women as they can't land a hit of them as the masked with the ink blue hair is quickly at lightning speed, hits both of their points as the one called Hidan with his three-bladed scythe which drops it as he couldn't move at all another one, a man with green eyes and a mask covering only his whole head but his eyes as he holds his chest is like his heart is in pain but he says, what did she do? I feel all of my heart stop beating. As Hidan, well lucky you. I can't move for shit. Whatever that bitch to me is dead. I will offer her to Jashin. Yells as he pissed off. Only to get blasted by dragon fire and both of the were burned alive, shit. That hurt. Yelled Hidan as the black hair masked appeared in front of him as she place a tag on his mouth, you curse too much, says as she actives it which placing him in a genjutsu. While this is going on, a woman who is part of the Akatsuki since she's wearing the coat after all, and what now, she's staring toward Sapphire who had spotted her and she is wondering is she thinking, why is this thing looking at me? Sapphire went at her and grabbed her before she could react or escape, as Sapphire takes him away as he thinking, is it going to eat me? Damn it, I have to get free, as Itachi who last remaining that was sent to get the Jinchurikis, this isn't good at all. I have to get away and inform Pain about tea. He feels a massive sword on his shoulder with its blade at his neck. As he hears, wait a minute, I know you, yes I remember now, you're Itachi Uchiha, the guy who tries take me away when I was with that old perv years ago along with the fish man which he's in Pryo's stomach. A voice behind him, Itachi turns his head lightly as he says, who are you? And what are you talking about? As he looking toward the emperor is he very sure that he never met him before. Oh don't you recognize me? Maybe this will refresh your memory, says the emperor as he lightly remove his hood lightly to show his whiskers marks on his cheek from the shadow of his helmet as Itachi says as he knows who he is, Naruto, you're the emperor. Yes and your brother tried to make me to get him to become my heir to the throne, but as you would guess that failed, says Naruto as Itachi as his eyes turn red as he says, you know, since I know who you are, I will inform my leader about you and make our way toward your empire and take you, says Itachi as he about to use the power of his family bloodline, but then, and how are you going to tell you? Since after all, dead man tells no tale, says Naruto who right away cuts off Itachi's head before he could do anything to save himself. Naruto covers his face back up and picks up the head of Itachi then removes the eyes. He has plans for this head after all, but first, what should he do with the eyes? But however he lost track of thoughts as Sapphire lands in front of as she places the woman with the blue hair in front of him as Naruto says. Who is this Sapphire? Says Naruto as he looks toward her as the woman had passed out since she was high in the air after all. Naruto then shrugs and has some water splashed on her to wake her up but after he ties her up as the blue hair woman wakes up and sees of what is going on. And quickly realizes that she'd been captured as she says, damn it, I'm in the enemy hands, says the woman as the emperor says, now then, why don't you tell me your name beautiful? None of your business. She said as the emperor has the warborn take her away as the masked women are making way for the Raikage as he stands in front of the emperor, so that is over with, now will you answer my questions, Emperor? Says Reikage. The Emperor nods and says, you know Samui is Samui, but I know her as Empress Samui, and my wife. As Reikage is shocked as he now know he is but won't say anything about this. I see, very well, as for my other question, just who are there two are with you? The one with the coat seems to be a user of genjutsu and other one fights like a hyuga but her movements are way more faster, says A, as the Emperor says. Oh, that's an easy answer. There are Hinata Hyuga and Kurenai Yuhi. Then the Emperor removes his hood to show that he is Naruto but with his scar over his left eye. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, the shinobi who was put to death for doing my job. Says Naruto as one of them takes off her mask as she says, "En Naruto-kun." Says Hinata. With Naruto saying, I will explain later, but for now, why don't you two head back, I will hand the rest here, as keep talking with as Hinata and Kurenai heads back. A few hours later at Konoha. Sasuke is in the hospital with a new arm attached but it can't do much since it's wooden, as Tsunade says, I swear, he's gonna get us all killed if he doesn't learn to shut up, says as she outside of Sasuke's hospital room, as she rubbing her head as she has a headache then, a Anbu appeared before Tsunade as he holding a box that just arrived, Lady Hokage, this package today, says the Anbu. Tsunade saw it was not for her but Sasuke. She then takes it into Sasuke's room and drops onto him which by doing this, wakes him up, as Tsunade says, this came for you, whatever it, open it, as she leaves the room with Sasuke getting up and looks at the box, as he doesn't know what it is. So he starts opening it, and what he founds, he will soon be in rage as he yells out, which it could be heard by everyone within ranch, as within the box, he founds the head of the killer of his clan, his older brother, Itachi Uchiha as his eyes are gone as there's something on Itachi's forehead, I took away the thing you wanted in life, I took away your vengeance, Sasuke Uchiha, as the end of it is, signed Naruto Uzumaki. Damn you Naruto! Shouted Sasuke as he curses Naruto.